As the French would say, c'est un bonjour aujourd'hui, n'est-ce pas?
It is pretty nice, isn't it?
Pretty sure this is the place.
240 kilometers south of Rusbros, near Coston, BC.
Something's coming. Looks like a Torino. Hey, JF.
How you guys been?
Mike and Avery are meeting up with JF Lanier, local custom car builder and hot rod fanatic.
This is the most sacred soil you're ever gonna see.
Why are you showing it to us, you stupid? It's been months since I've seen my old buddy JF. It's good to come down here in his neck of the woods, and hopefully we're gonna see some cool stuff. Holy moly. Look at all this, Dave. Looks like they've been here since Christ was a cowboy, man. I think this guy has a problem. I like this place.
I knew you would. Ken, this is Avery and Mike.
Good morning.
Ken's been my mentor my whole hot rod career. He was always willing to give me advice on how to build my hot rods and do the right things when it came to building an old car.
Well, I'm honored to get to come and meet you, Ken.
You look like you got a bit of stuff here in the yard. Well, last time I checked.
Let's go do a little tour. I'm sure they're gonna freak out.
Oh, he's got a row of Chevys here.
Look at all them colors.
Buick, 61.
61,
Chrysler, 65.
65.
Ken's a kindred spirit. He's totally old school. You don't see a single thing with fresh paint on it. V12 Zephyr, 1940,
38.
38, like unreal. It's 15 acres of cool stuff. I mean, there is stuff I have never seen. There's stuff I don't even want to see. I will return.
There's one car here I really want to show you guys. Jaguar suspended, Hemi-powered Model A. This is it. This is the car that made me become a show car builder.
No kidding.
No.
30 years ago, I saw this picture hanging on the wall in the main shop, and I said to myself, one day, I'm gonna build a car that's nice enough so that I can have a black and white picture of my car on my wall, and this is the car.
It's almost moving me to tears.
Yeah. Never got around to building one because the show cars always take over, right?
All started with a 1928 Model A that Ken built. It's pretty cool.
So are you building one of these cars? Is that what you're telling us, or
I'd like
what?
to.
I think it'd be cool, JF. Get back to your roots.
This is probably the most inspiring place I come to when I'm thinking of building hot rods, and today it's got me on a total tangent.
What the is that?
Model A Roadster. Pretty well the simplest hot rod on the planet.
Bingo.
I need to do one of these cars for sure. How good is this car?
Well, at one time, JF, this car was brand new. That's how good it is.
Is this even a car that'd be available now?
I'm thinking that would be a great project.
Yeah, I mean, they've been hot rodding them for what, 80 years?
I'd be quite excited to see my old car going again.
I'm in.
All right.
JF's done a lot of high-end builds, but you know what? He's not used to working on this old iron. He's never built one. It's not what he does.
Man, I'm excited about this.
All right, all right.
Got to lead on some half-track parts.
More half-track parts?
The next day in Mission, BC, Avery and Jacob are on the hunt.
This guy's got a bunch of Army vehicles, some good stuff, but I'm after a set of tracks. We're doing a half-track, something that I can manage. There's not a whole lot of body work in it. It's all flat.
Avery recently bought 2 military vehicles called half-tracks, but is missing some key components.
I was pretty naive when I bought the first 2 half-tracks. I spent $8,000 on one and $5,000 on the other one. It's a lot of money, and I got nothing that runs. You got your Army shirt on, you'll blend right in. Rick?
Yes,
We're here to look at your half-track parts.
right this way.
Rick Rice is a former Army reservist
Oh my God, you got stuff.
Yeah,
and an avid collector of military vehicles.
Just trying to preserve a little bit of history.
Yeah. What the hell is this thing?
That's a Canadian-built T-33, built back in the 50s.
What is this thing?
That's a 1944 white cab-over tractor unit.
That thing is really cool. Looks like a tough bulldog.
This is one of the biggest collections of military stuff that I've seen, but there's more stuff around here. There's a half-track underneath there.
Yeah, I see that.
These half-tracks, they were the Swiss Army knife of the military. I see you got a motor. This motor's for this thing, too?
Yep, that is a French rebuilt.
All the parts are on this motor.
Should we go look at these tracks, what we actually came here for?
These are brand new tracks. They've never been used.
All right, well, those look decent. Let's make a deal and get the hell out of here.
Basically, it's all or nothing.
You know we have 2 of these, eh, already. I don't want a third half-track. I just want these tracks. What is your bottom line price?
I can't take anything less than 16 grand.
You want $16,000 for everything? A good set of tracks is worth right around $8,000 to $10,000.
Are you really trying to buy all this stuff here?
I tell you what, I'll give you a deposit of $1,000.
Whip it out.
I'm already into this thing so deep. Can't stop now. He's got the tracks, a motor, and a whole pile of parts. It's an absolute gift.
Alrighty.
Okay,
Wow, look how skinny you are today.
thanks.
Oh, here comes trouble.
Over at Rust Bros,
I come bearing gifts.
What'd you bring?
The motor you removed from your car just to lose to.
Connor is stopping by the shop to check on Mike after a humiliating drag race loss.
It was embarrassing. I give him the motor and he kicks my ass with it. Dustin!
A few weeks ago,
You race your Chevelle against his Chevelle.
Mike accepted a racing challenge from Rust Valley locals Dustin Thomas and Ryan Dimmich
I blew up my motor this morning. I wish I was joking.
and wound up saving the day.
In the spirit of good sportsmanship, I'm lending them my motor to race against me.
But Mike's good deed we got him! Won Ryan the race, becoming the latest in a long string of Rust Bros losses on the track.
Hit to pass race. Lost. Derby. Lost. The shop truck challenge.
Lost.
We keep losing. Aren't you tired of losing yet? I am.
I know.
We're on a losing streak, and one of us needs to win something.
We've got the motor. We should put it in something else now. We know it's good. We've got that 64,
Which 64?
the Chevelle. This beautiful thing.
Oh, this
Remember?
one.
Yes.
I remember. Yeah, it's a back half car.
A back half car has a modified frame built to fit extra large tires and put as much weight on them as possible, making it ideal for drag racing.
I mean, you know, it's pretty solid.
Why don't we build this, get a rematch lined up?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's give Dusty a call.
What's up?
Me and the old man, we're sitting around here. He's-
Licking my wounds.
Yeah, he's a little sore that Ryan spanked him at the drag race. So I think we're gonna try to have a rematch.
That ain't happening. His motor isn't even close to going in his car.
No?
What I do have is, remember that Nova I bought off your dad?
That back half car.
Yeah, I almost got it completed.
Really?
Yeah.
If you're gonna have that back half Nova done, and we're gonna have a back half Chevelle done, why don't we have a little showdown just us?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Hey, let's do that.
Be there or be square.
Okay, we'll be there to beat you.
Tell bud, let's work on it.
I think it would be a pretty cool matchup because it would be a pretty fair race.
Ready?
Ready. Okay. If Connor thinks we can use this car, do a rematch, and we've got a good chance of winning, I'm all for it. Keep coming. We got him. Okay, well, let's go grab that big lug. Like I said, it'd be nice to spank Dustin's ass.
Oh, Jesus. Nothing like oil in the back of your truck. Sakes.
Where's it coming from?
Front, man, I think.
Let's put it up on the engine stand. Let's check it.
Good.
As far as I know, this thing was brand new, fresh motor.
Okay, lift.
Seems to be leaking oil somewhere. Connor and I were gonna pop the heads. We're gonna take a look. See what we got.
Looks good on there.
Okay, see what the bottom end looks like.
Oh. Ooh.
What?
Like, look at number one. See the vertical lines up and down in there? We got some piston slap. Like, look at that one. That one's chewed up, probably even the worst.
Piston slap, it's not good. It'll make this motor burn a lot of oil. It'll bring it down in compression, which will cost some horsepower, and eventually, cause all sorts of hard part damage.
If this thing had no miles on it, and it's already showing that kind of piston slap, there's a problem somewhere.
Could have been Ryan over revving it. I think it could have just been the fact the engine might not have been put together correctly. We're never gonna know. All we know is it has to be fixed.
We don't want to lose anymore.
Okay, I'll lift that thing up.
You got her.
At Wildman Restorations, Avery has received a much-anticipated delivery.
Okay.
His new M3 half-track.
Okay, let's get out of here. Get your thing done back up.
Avery,
Over here, Mike.
how does it feel to single-handedly devalue everyone's property on the whole street? I've never seen Avery's yard look this bad. It looks like a friggin' wrecking yard in a residential neighborhood.
Anyways,
Wow, look at that. Like, what is this?
this is a 1941 half-track. These were used as artillery tractors.
Holy.
I have 3 of them here, Mike.
Every time Avery wants to do a project, he goes right off the deep end. Wow, this one, I like this one.
It's because of the patina on it.
I know, look at that. This is cool.
This one's an International Harvester. The back end of it is a different length.
Wow. If you ever say anything to me about buying junk again,
You know what? I was looking at all 3 of these, and I'm gonna just fix this one. This frame's in good shape. I'm gonna go with the old first generation M3. It's got the least amount of work that needs to be done to it.
What's it worth restored?
Believe it or not, Mike, 75,000.
Really?
Yes, and it's worth the most amount of money. It come with a brand new set of tracks.
You got a motor for it? Oh, look at this. Look at the size of that.
Isn't that something?
So what are we doing to it?
It needs to come in the shop. We're gonna have to rip it apart. We need to start from a ground-up frame-off restoration. Okay, we up to ramming speed?
Yeah, ramming speed, Captain. Keep going, Abe.
Let's pull this baby apart and see what's the matter with it.
Okay.
We'll lift the cab off and move it out.
Okay.
You know what, this half-track? It's simple. It's got flat plates and bolts.
There we go. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bring it up from the back a bit more. Up, whoa, whoa. Okay. Beauty.
Okay, let's go take a look at this frame. You know what?
Uh-oh.
Look at that. Rusted right off.
Yep.
Look at here. I'm not real happy about finding all the rust on this machine, but this one here has the least amount of work that needs to be done to it. What do I do?
Sandblast the crap out of it.
Everything's in bad shape. Some places rusted right to nothing.
Well, good morning, bud.
How we doing?
Back in Coston at Ken's yard,
What have we got here?
JF has sourced a 1932 frame for his 1928 Model A hot rod build.
I would like you to help me with a few small details before it leaves the property so that we can do a few things together on it.
Be perfect.
The 32 frame was the first to get a V8, so I'd like to switch the body over onto that and have a really wicked hot rod. What have you got left for 348s around here? Hot rodders are the original recyclers, taking loose parts that are in front of you, putting big horsepower into lightweight cars.
That should be in the ballpark, I think.
I think so too.
There we go. Hot rodding 101, huh? Wow. Over the top.
Over the tires. Pick it up. We got it. Gotta lift a little bit of this, and a little put me under. Okay,
Go find a headlight bar.
let's do that. True hot rodding is about anything but spending money.
Gotta get the 28-29 style, not the 30-31 style.
This is the one we want?
Yeah.
I love the idea of picking through his treasures and being able to create something amazing out of it. The inspiration. Looking at Ken's little Model A Roadster, I have to have these headlight stanchions.
This piece does not look like that piece. I'm trying to wrap my head around how that's gonna work out.
There's some twisting gonna happen, hey? This is one of those details that I had never paid attention to. Ken is actually gonna show me how to do this, and I'm really excited about it. All right.
Whew. Taking a little more energy than I thought it would. It's twisting on me.
Now, which way? Forward or
I'm
back?
thinking it leans forward. Like 20 degrees worth of forward.
Coming up.
I think you got it there.
Okay. Try to do it the same as the other side. I'm definitely a little out of my element right now. I'm basically forging metal. I haven't done that a lot in my career.
Da-da-da-da. Hey, looking good, looking good.
A couple great styling cues from one of the best. I think that really looks the part. Ken and I have been friends since I can remember, and I'm going to try to pay tribute to his ideas and his joy of hot rodding while I build this car. So I think now it's time I take it to the shop, get it sandblasted, do the body work, and start thinking of paint.
We'll be driving it soon. Hot rodding's easy, isn't it?
What do you mean 6 weeks?
Meanwhile, over at Rust Bros,
I know you're trying. We can't get parts either, man. We're suffering the same BS here. Anyway, thanks, Rob. Ciao, bud.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
We got no motor. What do you want to do? Call Dusty and say we're going to cancel?
Mike's received news that his drag car build is dead in the water.
What else we got kicking around?
You know what we got?
What?
We got 850 horse in your Chevelle.
Yeah, and a rear end that will go. Why do we have to use my car?
No, I just want to beat him.
My old man suggested we use my 66, but drag racing is really hard on parts. You're asking 100% output. I don't see this 12-bolt surviving.
What's a diff worth? What's a 9-inch built to the nuts?
Probably, if I had to guess, probably 3-4 grand.
A Ford 9-inch rear end is built a lot differently than a 12-bolt Chevy. A lot of guys use them for drag racing, a lot of guys use them for their street cars because they're just frankly tougher.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty healthy.
Yeah?
You just buy a set of street slicks.
So how's this sound? You buy me a 9-inch, I'll trade you for my 12-bolt so you can use it in one of your other projects.
We'll see what the price difference is. You might have to throw me some cash.
No.
Yes.
Well, then I guess we're forfeiting the race.
No, we aren't.
That's what I thought. Dusty!
What's going on?
Later that evening,
I came by to check out the competition.
Connor stopped by Dustin's shop on his way home from work.
So what do you
This
think?
looks mean.
We're thinking 1,000 horsepower. We're out to kick some ass.
Nice. What kind of boost are you gonna run?
Can't tell you. We got the biggest injectors we could fit with a stock manifold, 90 pounds, so we got some race gas for it, and we're just gonna send her.
This Nova that Dustin's building is a weapon. It's literally built to go fast in a straight line. It's an automatic, it's on slicks, it's 4-linked, it's a drag car.
Okay, buddy.
Okay,
Have fun. I'll see you soon.
Okay, catch you later.
It's gonna be a hard race. I don't know if I'll be able to beat Dustin.
Hey, we're shaking.
Oh, just leaving Dusty's shop. He's building a race car that is actually a race car. It's got a twin turbo 496 in it.
Ouch.
He figures it's gonna be around 1,000 horsepower.
Holy.
Oh, we getting close yet? We've been driving all day.
There's a milk cow right there.
There's a chocolate milk cow.
700 kilometers east of Rust Valley in Nanton, Alberta,
Instruments and gauges is what I need, and they're just about impossible to find.
Avery and his son Chafin are hoping to track down some historic parts for the half-track build.
Look at that. We have found the place. You know, I heard the Nat Museum did 1 or 2 of these vehicles back in the day. I'm just hoping they got a few parts laying around.
Hi, guys. Avery?
Yes.
Carl Karsgaard is the curator of the Bomber Command Museum of Canada.
I'd like to show you the treasures we've got in here. A Lancaster from World War II.
Look at how big it is.
Isn't that something, eh? Wow.
Holy dang, that's just wicked, eh?
You guys go ahead. This Lancaster was bought in 1961 for $500.
It must have been quite something flying this. Here, Shafe, take a sit in here.
You're the right age to be a Lancaster pilot, and you had a 30% chance of surviving your tour.
That's pretty crazy to think about, eh?
The sacrifice that some people give for us, it's quite something. You know, the responsibility that the young kids took on to do this job,
Thanks for that.
No problem.
it's quite overwhelming when you think about it.
Okay, guys, this is where we have our spare parts.
Whoa.
We're looking for electrical parts, some gauges, some power units.
We got all kinds of good stuff for World War II airplanes, plus vehicles.
Okay, here's a bunch of motors. Is that the same thing as I sent you a picture of?
Yeah. That's the Autodyne power unit.
Yeah, I need them for running accessories and stuff. What's your value of this stuff?
I would say $100.
Not a problem at all. I do know what them are worth, and that's a fairly good deal. Now, Carl, I'm looking for some gauges.
Sure.
Instrument panel gauges, there's not very many of them left around in good shape. And if I can't find them here, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so the instruments are starting down here. We got RPM gauges, manifold pressure gauges. Here, to see what's in there. What do you got?
You know what? That's a gauge I think I'm looking for.
Really?
Yeah, that's the right gauge out of that half track.
No way.
What's the deal on this, or what do you want out of that?
$600.
Not a problem. I'm ecstatic to find that piece. You know what? This is like winning the lottery. I found a complete gauge cluster.
Are you happy?
I'm absolutely totally blown away. The whole trip was worth it.
Well, that's looking good.
Back in British Columbia,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
at JF's home base in Osoyoos,
Love it. Nothing like a rumble seat.
Oh, that's a rumble seat.
Yeah, flip it open, put the grandkids in the back.
work on the Model A hot rod is well underway.
Well, Teddy, tell me the news about this motor.
The motor looks nice.
That makes me so happy that we're going to be able to use this motor, and I think Ken will be thrilled.
Today, JF and his head mechanic Teddy are assembling the engine with parts sourced from Ken's farm.
I'm absolutely committed to using this motor because it pays homage to Ken, the car that's built with his engine. All right. I want to make sure that these pistons are still good in that bore. They don't look bad. The motor we're using is 65 years old. We're trying to reuse old parts.
Line up these rings.
That's not normally how we would do it on a high-end build.
That should be good.
But it's a really neat way to take stuff that hadn't been doing anything and bring it to life. Somehow that seems wrong.
What's going on here?
Doesn't add up.
Oh.
We're stuck. Pain in my ass. It's an old loose motor. It should be just spinning around. I say we lube them going in, Teddy.
Yeah.
That's the tell. No tension on it compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Look at how easy was that. Funny that piston's sitting crooked. Let's take it apart one more time. Broke the ring.
No way.
Broke the piston ring on its way in. An ultra rare 1958 Chevy piston ring just broke, and it's not that easy to find one.
That's crazy.
Can't finish the job without finding one more of these.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. You too. Thanks.
So, next step.
Back and tapping,
Put this one up.
Ooh, that's a nice looking diff.
Connor is dropping in his brand new rear differential to race against Dustin tomorrow.
We are on a time crunch. The only chance we have is my Chevelle. It's the only thing that's going to put enough power down to maybe take this thing. Slide it ahead a little bit, Dad. Oh, my finger. Lift this side. Okay, we're close. I need the airline off the hoist behind you, Blair.
Hello? Hey, Ryan. Did you finally ever get off your ass and get a motor in your car?
That's why I'm calling. When I heard about this race with Connor and Dustin, I rebuilt mine. I'm ready to get it going. I was wondering if we maybe were thinking a rematch.
Well, I'm thinking rematch. We've been looking for some slicks. We think we might have found a supplier. Dim is the guy that spanked me last time. Said his car is ready to run. He wants a rematch against my Chevelle. I'm in. Just remember, though, vengeance is mine.
We'll see, Mike.
Ciao, bud. This time there's going to be no traction issues. It's going to be action. Hey, Sarah, are those slicks ordered yet? We're running out of time. Connor's bringing his car, I'm bringing mine. Connor, is this what you call the race to the finish? We've been kicked every time we go out. It would be nice, just once, I'd like to be in the winner's circle. Look at you go. You're like a friggin' machine. Okay, we're good. Whether I get it or Connor gets it, we both share in the glory.
What are you doing?
Just putting slicks on.
They look nice.
I know, well, I think we're gonna have some traction.
You gotta let some air out of them.
Well, no, you gotta go to the strip and you do a couple passes before
It
you
doesn't matter. You
Hey!
got too much air in there, Mike.
Leave him alone. I'm getting the deck truck. Read my lips.
Okay.
Do not touch my tires.
Pooplehead. You got too much air in this tire. If you have too much air in your racing slicks, they won't grab the asphalt the way they're supposed to.
No.
You know what? I tried to do a good deed and the valve stem got away on me. Now all the air is out of the tire.
What did you...
I was gonna let some air out of it and the core fell
I
out.
told you, leave it alone.
I was gonna put some more air in.
Blair's working on the compressor. The switch was blown. Blair! Hey, how long are you gonna be? Okay, well, I ain't waiting that long. We gotta get going. We'll use the old Milwaukee cordless inflator. Okay, we want it at 30 pounds. Push the button. Just let it do its thing. So I'm gonna spin the truck around.
Cool.
Okay, leave it
Okay,
alone
let's
now.
get this thing loaded.
I got mud all over my slicks. Connor, are you ready?
I got 5 hours of work to do on my car, and it's 11 o'clock already. Start driving,
Yep.
and I'll see you there.
You know where you're going?
Nope.
Call me when you're leaving. Make sure the shop's locked up.
I'll figure it out.
Okay, we're out of here. Be nice to get there before it's dark, Abe. Where is he?
It's race day in Osoyoos, BC,
Oh, he's here.
and Russ Bros is ready for a rematch.
Redemption!
Today is ass whooping round 2. Hey, Jada, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We're gonna try and get some vindication from Ryan kicking my ass last time.
Hey, what's that?
I think that's Dustin. Oh, that car looks good.
Man.
This thing is a purpose-built race car.
How's it going?
Definitely not streetable. Ryan's bringing his Chevelle, just put his motor in it.
If he doesn't blow that car up, I'll be impressed.
Yeah. I would seriously like to kick his ass this time. I'm tired of losing. Hey, JF.
You guys ready to race? Yeah! JF's taking a day off from his nearby shop to officiate the race.
I'll be doing the start of the race here. It's gonna be simple arm drop.
Arm drop.
As soon as the arms start to drop is when you're supposed to leave.
$50 a race?
Yeah, let's put some money on it. 50 bucks. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's the best of three. First up, Connor and Dustin.
The racing rules are, you watch the starter. As soon as the hands start to drop, you go. If you jump, you lose. Took him right off the line. Wasn't even close.
What happened?
Blew a shift.
You can see it, he was still spinning.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of traction.
No, I don't think the tires are warm.
That was second gear as long as I can.
Tires are cold.
Still cold?
Yeah.
First race, Connor got his ass handed to him. I mean, he just couldn't get his tires hooked up. Traction means action.
Okay, next race, if I win, it's mine.
I know. I know.
Ah, I saw some smoke!
We're going somewhere with this.
What the was that?
Hey, that's a jump. That's a loss.
That's a jump. Back up.
He lost! So if somebody jumps, a victory by default is just as sweet whether you race or not.
Mikey, I think we got one.
I couldn't tell.
Too close to tell. Close.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, it was too close to tell.
Did you win? Did he win?
I don't know. We got to ask him.
We'll ask him.
It was so close. I mean, Connor thought that he could have won.
Do you think you took it? I think we were like bumper to bumper, man.
Let's keep it fair. Sure. Okay, so that's a rerun then.
So it's 1-1. The next one wins.
The score is tied, so it's winner take all.
It's getting closer.
Race car wins.
Okay, looks like it's up to the old man. Connor put on a monumental effort, gave it his best shot, and it was super close. Okay, Ryan, let's get ready to go. 50 bucks?
50?
We'll see what the old Chevelle can do.
Let's go over our game plan here.
Okay.
One last time. Burnout box. What do we
Burn
do?
on box, we start in second gear and smoke, get as hot as we can, then do a first gear pre-launch.
If you're looking at me and I'm telling you no,
Go back.
go back and let her have it again.
Okay.
Hey, Ryan's trying to listen. Ryan.
JF, I can't hear you. You got to speak up.
Hey, Ryan, if you let him win, we will have to listen to this for the rest of our lives. For Christ's sakes, do your best.
My car's running good. I've got 18-inch slicks, so I should actually have some traction. That's what killed us last time. Yes! Yes!
My God, oh.
Am I the only one doing one of these? That's going to be all driver.
Yeah.
Second race, my old man took him, and it was a good race. We can do one more of those, then Mike's got a chance.
The ADD is strong! Yeah! That's our first 50 bucks, buddy! Holy. That was close.
I missed third.
What?
I missed third. Got ahead in second, and then I missed third, and he was just like, boom.
Mike, you're doing everything right?
Okay.
Should do 2 burnouts, though. Get them right white hot.
JF's been drag racing a long time. He taught me more in 1 minute than I've learned about drag racing in 30 years.
It's the third and final race, and Mike's only chance at redemption.
I know I'm close. I'm gonna reheat the tires twice. I'm gonna listen to everything JF said.
That's almost as fun as winning yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was a race.
We are never gonna hear the end of this. Ever!
Third race, I beat him by a third of a car, and it was exhilarating. I couldn't believe it.
That old man's got his head out the window. He's fist pumping in the air. He's acting like he won a gold medal at the Olympics here.
I mean, I didn't think I'd feel that happy just winning a race, but I mean, that's the best I felt all year. It's $100. A brown one, don't be tight.
Oh, I got a few of those.
On a scale of 1 to 10, this day was a 12. It was worth all the time and the effort to come here. I mean, it's still a stupid thing, drag racing, but is it fun?
He wants to race you double
No,
nothing right
that's
now.
it.
Have you been to Ted's place before?
Nope.
He's been there for years sandblasting.
The next day, back in Tappan,
We're gonna turn in the corner.
Oh, okay.
That way.
Oh, you want to go that way in the corner? Okay.
Not that way, and that way.
All right.
Avery and Jacob are dropping off the half-track frame to get sandblasted.
I hope this frame isn't as bad as it looks, but we'll find out once it gets all cleaned up.
You want underneath done?
Yeah, the whole thing has to be done. The rough spots in the frame is a real problem area. 6 hours or so, you think, or?
Oh, probably more than that.
Oh, I can't handle the heat. Let's keep going. You know what? We got about 100 things to do. Keep going. Perfect. Put her on the ground. I got other problems I got to deal with. But you know what? It's so hot outside. I'll sweat like in church on Judgment Day. I can't even think.
I hate that they didn't have any good flavors.
What do you mean?
I just like the old man flavors, like vanilla, toasted pecan. No, I don't like rum and raisin. That's gross.
Bubble gum in here.
That's what you got. That's what you asked for. All right.
You know what? I gotta wait for the frame to come back from the sandblaster. We need to go to the metal supermarket and get a load of material so we can start rebuilding this machine.
Ooh, you got stuff, eh?
So we got hot rolled flat bar, the rough stuff, and the cold finish bar.
2 of each. No, we need some more. 1 2-inch and 1 2.5-inch. Okay. You know what? I got all the metal I need. It's a long road ahead to do this machine. It's turning into quite a task. It very well may break me. But hey, gotta see it through the end. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah.
We can start building stuff now.
Uh-huh.
Teddy, I got it.
Oh, right on.
Down south at JF Customs,
Don't break it like I did.
the replacement piston rings needed to finish the Model A have arrived.
It's there. It's
All
there.
right, good. Teddy and I got the parts in. The pistons are in place.
Lubed up, ready to go.
Okay. I am going to hit high gear and get this car finished. We've got paint going on the car. I have wanted a Ford Roadster since I was 14 years old. Ever since I realized that that was the spirit of hot rodding. Ooh, I like that. The list of modifications are crazy on this car. We are actually pulling off some super cool tricks that I've never seen done before. It's just gonna be a whole bunch of fun.
Okay, give her a crank.
Okay, it's happening. Testing, testing.
Now that sounds good.
I can't believe how well the engine runs. It actually looks like we're gonna pull this off.
Well, there's a band of misfits.
Whoa.
Holy moly. Where's the rat rod, JF?
Yeah, JF, where's the rat rod?
I swear to God, it's hiding under a couple layers of paint, that's all. Same car, just a little shinier.
Holy, holy, holy. Stunning, my man.
Look at that thing.
I know.
It just gleams.
I mean, we walk in expecting some ratty old rod that's gonna have a hot rod motor in it. There's no rat involved anywhere. The thing is unbelievable.
The essence of it started from this engine that I got from Ken.
Tell me the tale on those valve covers, because those are not stock.
It's just kind of a play on the idea that this should be an engine that came out of a Canadian Pontiac rather than a Chevrolet. And I thought it was just a little more romantic than just having an orange Chevrolet 409 sitting in here.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Those Pontiac valve covers, I have never seen a set. He built them and stamped them. I mean, that thing is gonna drive people nuts.
The spark plugs.
They're polished.
You polished the spark plugs.
I did polish the spark plugs. We went from a quickie rat rod build to something that I think is amazing. My son's actually put in almost 500 hours into detailing the engine, and that is no easy feat.
Detail. Everywhere you look is details. It's incredible the amount of difference it makes. The hours and hours into the detailing of that engine, I don't think you'll see another one like it.
Pretty good use of your old parts, isn't it?
You could have left one rusty one on there.
I look at this car and I think of what we looked at in Ken's barn. It's almost beyond comprehension that it's the same car.
It's really a simple car, but you can't swipe a credit card to build a car like this.
No, they've taken ordinary objects and turned them into an extraordinary build.
And one of the coolest things, it's still a rumble seat car.
I don't think that I'd ever fit in that rumble seat.
Wow, look at that. What gave you the idea with the tan and the orange?
Most people would put a brown interior in this car, but that's the safe thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing we want to do.
It makes it stand out. It gives it its own unique personality, and I think it just looks kick-ass.
The idea of an olive drab body with orange upholstery is creative and bold, and yet it looks so right.
Well, Ken, what do you think of going for a ride in my old car?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea.
I think that'd be super.
Fire this thing up. Ken's waiting.
I've had decades of riding shotgun with Ken and his roadsters, and finally it's my turn to take him for a spin.
Light her up.
That thing sounds sick. There's at least 400 ponies under the hood there. That is going to be one scary little car.
This is actually the first time I've taken you for a ride in a roadster.
It's stunning.
It's awesome. The car sounds terrific.
It's got a very nice tight feel about it.
This 409 is raunchy. The car is super light, and it's just like a little go-kart on wheels.
Beautiful job, beautiful car.
Thank you.
Quite an accomplishment.
It would be hard to put it in words how grateful I am for Ken's influence in my life.
Holy cow.
It means the world to me.
That afternoon at Rust Bros,
Hey! Get out of the way!
What are you doing to my car?
I'm putting this in the bin!
Yeah, right.
Somebody left it here and I'm gonna squish it!
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I gotta get all this out of the yard. The church wants it back in 60 days.
Mike's struggling to clear his overflowing collection from property owned by the church next door.
I got like an extra 100 almost.
How did you end up with 100 cars after selling 550?
I don't even know how it happened. It's like mushrooms. You plant one and 4 pop out.
I look at your yard and I'm happy that I'm not the only one that's got the same problem.
Yeah, if I look at your yard, it makes mine look good.
What are we gonna do with all this stuff? I have got stuff that I haven't seen in 5 years. You know what? I'm having the same problem as Mike. We need to clean these yards up. Simple as that. How did you feel, Mike, after you sold the last stuff?
Like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Why don't we combine all of our and just get rid of it?
What, you mean an auction?
Yeah.
The morning sun stretched its golden fingers over the Rust Valley like it was trying to wake up the countless relics of an automotive past, each one resting in quiet anticipation as if aware that today could be different, that today might be the day someone breathed life into their weary frames again. Michael, the restless mechanic with grease under his fingernails and a mind that never stopped spinning, strolled through the yard with the same mix of reverence and impatience he always carried when faced with the remnants of forgotten cars, the ones whose engines had been silenced years ago but whose spirits lingered in the scuffed leather seats and chipped chrome. There was a peculiar magic in this place, a hum that went beyond the sound of metal on metal or the echo of tools hitting benches. It was the hum of stories waiting to be told, the silent whisper of history urging him forward. Michael paused by a 1967 Mustang Fastback, its once fiery red paint now dulled to a weary rust, and ran his hand along the hood, feeling the subtle depressions and ridges as though the car itself was trying to communicate, trying to tell him where to start, what to fix first. Beside him, his apprentice, a young woman named Lily with bright eyes and hands too clean for this kind of work but determination that outshone any grease stain, tilted her head, studying the car with a mixture of awe and analytical focus. "Do you ever think," she began, hesitating as though she wasn't sure if the question was out loud or just in her head, "that these cars, they're kind of like time machines, each one frozen in the moment it was abandoned, but all waiting for someone to restart the clock." Michael chuckled, a sound that rumbled like the start of an engine. You're not wrong. Every dent, every scratch, even the smell of old upholstery is a memory. And when we restore them, we're not just fixing metal. We're giving them a second chance at life, and in a way, a second chance at telling their stories. He bent closer, inspecting the engine bay, the layers of dust and corrosion, a map of neglect. Yet also a canvas, a place where patience and skill could transform decay into brilliance. Lily knelt beside him, unrolling a wrench and tapping it gently against her palm, feeling the weight of responsibility. It's weird, isn't it? She said softly, almost to herself, like we're archaeologists of speed, digging through history, piecing together something that was lost but never really gone. Michael smiled, his eyes reflecting the morning light that danced off the chrome trim of cars lined up like soldiers on parade. Exactly. Every bolt we turn, every panel we straighten, we're bridging eras. The world moves forward, but here we can pause it, even if just for a moment, and remember why these machines mattered. The rusted Mustang seemed to respond in its own silent language, creaking faintly under the weight of forgotten years, as if acknowledging that its story was about to change, that soon it would roar again, not just as a vehicle, but as a testament to human ingenuity and devotion. The rest of the team began to arrive. Fiona, the parts specialist who could locate anything from a rare carburetor to a long-lost hubcap with an almost mystical efficiency. Carl, the old-timer whose hands were scarred and calloused from decades of turning wrenches but whose eyes still sparkled with mischief and curiosity. And Jenna, the photographer who chronicled every restoration, capturing not just the transformation of steel but the subtle shifts in mood, the fleeting smiles of triumph, the occasional frustration, all frozen in digital memory. The shop came alive with the familiar cacophony, the clink of sockets, the hiss of compressed air, the faint rumble of engines being coaxed awake from their long slumber. Each car in the yard held a challenge, a puzzle wrapped in steel and paint, waiting for these restorers to decode it, to breathe life back into it. The Mustang's hood lifted with a grunt and a sigh of effort, revealing the tangled heart beneath. Wires worn thin, belts cracked, metal corroded. Michael ran a hand over the engine, feeling the texture, the temperature, imagining how it must have sounded when it first rolled off the line, the roar it must have made on highways and streets that had long since faded into memory. He traced the path of fuel lines, carburetor linkages, ignition coils, mentally reconstructing what had once been a symphony of motion. Lily watched him, fascinated not just by the car but by the way he communicated with it, as though he were talking to an old friend, coaxing it to share its secrets. Where do we even start? She asked, half in jest, half in genuine curiosity, knowing full well that Michael had a plan even if he couldn't articulate it in mere words. He straightened, wiping a hand on a rag, a thoughtful look crossing his face. We start with patience, he said finally. Patience, observation, and respect. Every car has its quirks, and rushing only leads to mistakes. Listen to it, watch it, understand it, and then act. Outside, the winter wind swept through the valley, carrying with it the scent of pine and damp earth, rustling the banners of faded advertisements that clung to the walls of the workshop like reminders of a bygone era. The shop was more than a place to fix cars. It was a sanctuary where history and innovation intersected, where past and present collided in sparks of creativity and determination. Each restorer carried their own philosophy, their own method of bridging that gap, whether it was meticulous documentation, improvisation, or relying purely on intuition honed by years of experience. The Mustang's engine coughed when Michael tried a tentative turn of the key, a sad wheeze that reminded everyone present of the fragility of revival, yet also of the immense potential hidden beneath rust and neglect. Fiona fetched a box of spare parts, her fingers flying over the contents like a pianist over keys, pulling out precisely what they needed before they even realized they were missing it. Carl grunted in agreement, adjusting a tool in his hand with a smile that suggested he had seen this many times before and knew exactly how it would end. Jenna crouched nearby, camera poised, capturing the interplay of light and shadow on chrome and rust alike, her lens a witness to history being rewritten one nut, one bolt, one careful touch at a time. As they worked, the Mustang seemed to stir, as if recognizing the care and dedication poured into its resurrection, its metal frame absorbing their energy and resolve. Michael leaned back, wiping sweat from his brow, surveying the team, the shop, and the yard beyond, filled with countless other vehicles waiting for their turn in the spotlight. Time machines, he murmured, almost to himself, echoing Lily's earlier thought. That's exactly what we're building here. Not just cars, but portals to the past, vessels for stories that demand to be heard again. And in that moment, surrounded by the smell of oil, the sound of tools, and the soft, insistent hum of possibility, he understood that this was never just about mechanics or restoration. It was about memory, connection, and the human desire to reclaim what had been lost, to prove that even the rustiest, most forgotten relics of yesterday could once again move with purpose and grace, reminding all who witnessed their revival that time itself was malleable in the hands of those willing to listen, willing to act, willing to breathe life into what others had deemed dead and gone. Every restored car would carry not just the mark of skill but the spirit of those who had dared to care, to dream, to turn back the clock, even if only for a fleeting moment, until the roads of the valley once again echoed with the music of engines, the poetry of motion, and the timeless thrill of transformation, a promise that the past was never truly lost, only waiting patiently for the right hands, the right hearts, and the right minds to bring it back to life. The Mustang's engine, though still wheezing and reluctant, began to reveal the faint pulse of life as Michael adjusted the timing, his hands steady and sure, each movement a conversation with the machine, a negotiation between man and metal that required both intuition and respect. Lily observed closely, feeling a thrill she hadn't experienced with any other restoration, the sensation of witnessing history reclaiming its voice, a mechanical heartbeat echoing through the garage that was almost human in its persistence. Outside, the sky darkened subtly as clouds rolled over the valley, casting long shadows across the yard. But the activity inside the shop was undeterred, a microcosm of energy and focus where every sound had meaning and every movement was calculated. Fiona returned from the parts room with a carburetor that looked almost brand new, and Carl began cleaning the rusted manifolds with a wire brush, each stroke a ritual of revelation, exposing the underlying steel like an archaeologist uncovering a long-buried artifact. Jenna adjusted her camera to catch the interplay of sparks and reflections, each frame a study in contrast, a documentation not just of restoration but of transformation itself, capturing fleeting expressions of concentration, frustration, and triumph. The team worked in a rhythm that seemed almost choreographed, a silent understanding passed down through countless restorations that dictated when to speak, when to assist, and when to simply step back and let the machine guide them. Michael's mind wandered briefly, imagining the Mustang in its original glory, the roar of its engine on open roads, the thrill it must have brought to its first owners, and he realized that restoring this car was not simply about mechanics. It was about empathy, about connecting with a past that existed only in fragments, in memories of strangers whose lives intersected with metal and motion. Lily handed him a wrench, their hands brushing briefly, a silent acknowledgement that their collaboration was more than professional. It was an unspoken pact to honor the stories embedded in steel, to ensure that each vehicle spoke again. The Mustang coughed violently as Michael tried once more to ignite it, and for a moment the garage fell silent, the hum of machinery pausing as if the entire space were holding its breath, waiting for either triumph or defeat. Then, with a sputter and a roar that echoed through the valley, the engine came alive, hesitant at first, then growing in confidence, vibrating with the promise of freedom, each rev a testament to patience, skill, and devotion. Michael's face broke into a grin, and even Carl, who rarely displayed such outward emotion, allowed himself a quiet chuckle, a sound of satisfaction that resonated like a warm chord in the otherwise metallic symphony of the shop. Fiona clapped lightly, not in celebration of the mechanics but in recognition of the resurrection itself, the culmination of hours of labor and the careful orchestration of knowledge and intuition. Lily stepped back, her eyes wide, her breath catching as she realized the Mustang was no longer a relic. It was alive, aware, and eager to demonstrate the vibrancy that had been buried beneath rust and dust. The Mustang rolled forward under its own power, the tires crunching over the gravel of the yard. And in that moment it was more than a car. It was a time machine, a vessel carrying stories, memories, and the essence of an era that had nearly been forgotten. Outside, the wind picked up, scattering leaves and carrying the scent of pine and oil, mingling the natural world with the man-made, a reminder that history was both organic and mechanical, tangible and fleeting. As the car circled the yard, Michael and Lily followed, discussing adjustments, the faint sheen of sweat on their foreheads glinting under the fluorescent lights, the camaraderie of shared achievement filling the space more than any engine ever could. Carl and Fiona began preparing another project, a 1959 Chevrolet Impala, whose bodywork was a patchwork of dents, rust, and forgotten paint, a canvas waiting for the same tender care that had just brought the Mustang back to life. "It's incredible," Lily whispered, almost to herself, watching the Mustang slow to a stop, its engine idling like a satisfied purr. "How a machine can carry so much history, so much emotion. It's like the past is right here, and we're just the translators." Michael nodded, his hands resting on the hood, feeling the vibrations travel up through the steel to his fingertips. "Every car has a soul, Lily. And some of them just need someone willing to listen. That's all we're doing. Listening, understanding, and helping them speak again." Jenna moved in closer, snapping shots from angles that captured the reflection of sunlight on polished chrome. The way the car seemed to interact with the space, almost aware of the attention, almost conscious of the revival it had undergone. The Impala sat silently in the corner, a reminder that the work was never done, that the valley was littered with silent witnesses of eras past, each waiting for the delicate touch of a restorer who understood that time was not merely a linear passage but a series of moments that could be paused, rewound, or accelerated through care and imagination. Michael approached the Impala, lifting its hood to reveal an engine choked with grime and corrosion, the smell of old oil and rust a pungent reminder of neglect, but also a signal that life still lingered beneath the surface. "This one's going to be a challenge," he said with a grin, already formulating a plan, mapping the steps in his mind, the order of operations, the sequence of interventions that would bring it back from the brink. Lily joined him, tracing her fingers along the edges of the fenders, feeling the subtle vibrations even in its dormant state. A silent communication that spoke volumes about the work ahead. Fiona began gathering the necessary parts, her expertise ensuring that every component was accounted for before any intervention began. A choreography of preparation that reduced mistakes and maximized efficiency. Carl, humming softly, prepared his tools, sharpening, cleaning, and arranging them in the exact order that the restoration would demand, each instrument a trusted companion in the dialogue between human and machine. Jenna circled the car, capturing its essence, the interplay of rust, light, shadow, and the anticipation of revival, knowing that her photographs would not just document a restoration but immortalize a transformation, a story of patience, dedication, and the relentless pursuit of bringing the past into the present. Outside, the weather shifted subtly, clouds darkening, a hint of rain in the air, yet inside the shop, the atmosphere was warm, charged with purpose, each breath a shared rhythm among those who understood that what they were doing transcended mechanics. It was about connection, storytelling, and preserving memory. The Impala's engine coughed faintly as Michael turned the key experimentally, the sound a harsh contrast to the smooth purr of the Mustang, reminding everyone present that revival was not always immediate, that patience, precision, and persistence were required to coax life from years of silence. Lily adjusted her stance, leaning slightly, observing every reaction, every vibration, every cough, interpreting them as a language she was only beginning to understand, a dialect of steel, oil, and time. Fiona and Carl began the meticulous process of cleaning, polishing, and repairing, their hands moving with confidence born of experience, each touch purposeful, each action deliberate. Jenna captured it all, every detail, aware that these moments would never occur in precisely the same way again, that the magic of transformation was fleeting and precious. Hours passed, the sun shifting across the valley outside, shadows lengthening, the shop becoming a cathedral of motion, noise, and focus, where time itself seemed to bend and stretch according to the rhythm of restoration. The Impala began to respond, gradually the engine sputtering, coughing, and then settling into a steady hum, tentative yet promising, like a heartbeat cautiously resuming its rhythm after a long pause. Michael allowed himself a quiet sigh of satisfaction, watching the car's transformation, knowing that the work was far from over, but that this milestone marked a crucial step in reclaiming its vitality. Lily smiled, a mixture of awe and accomplishment, realizing that every restoration carried not just mechanical challenges but emotional resonance, that the act of reviving these machines was also an act of reclaiming stories, identities, and histories that had been left behind. The valley outside remained indifferent to the revival, yet the workshop was alive, pulsating with the energy of shared purpose, creativity, and respect for what had come before. a microcosm where past, present, and future intersected in metal, oil, and determination. Michael looked around at his team, at the machines they were bringing back to life, and felt a profound sense of fulfillment, understanding that these restorations were more than work. They were conversations with history, acts of preservation, and declarations that the passage of time could be negotiated, rewritten, and honored simultaneously. The Mustang and Impala side by side represented not just vehicles but narratives, time machines capable of transporting anyone who encountered them into the moments, the emotions, and the dreams of decades past, proof that in the right hands, even the most neglected relic could roar back to life, carrying with it the essence of eras long gone yet never truly forgotten. The day stretched on, sunlight slanting through the high windows of the Rust Valley workshop, casting long golden beams across floors smeared with grease, dust, and traces of countless restorations, each mark a silent testament to the dedication of those who spent hours coaxing life from dormant metal, and Michael could feel it in the very air, a charge of anticipation and energy that seemed to vibrate along with the engines they revived, making every tool hum, every surface shimmer with potential. The Impala, now idling steadily, seemed almost content in its renewed heartbeat, a stark contrast to the row of untouched vehicles in the yard whose stories remained frozen in time, waiting for the precise combination of hands, patience, and understanding that only a true restorer could provide. Lily approached Michael, her notebook tucked under one arm, a catalog of observations, ideas, and measurements meticulously recorded as though she were mapping the soul of each car, and she pointed to a spot on the Impala's fender, where a tiny patch of rust threatened to spread further. Do you think we should tackle that next or focus on the engine components before moving outward? She asked, the faint thrill of problem-solving lighting up her eyes. Michael leaned closer, studying the blemish, feeling the faint warmth of the sun on the steel, imagining how it had been when the car first left the factory, sleek and flawless, and he could almost hear the laughter and voices of its first owners, their excitement at speed and freedom, a distant echo carried through time. We handle the mechanical heart first, he replied, his voice calm but firm, because the body will follow naturally once the soul is awake. You can't polish a spirit that hasn't found its rhythm yet. Lily nodded, absorbing the lesson, appreciating the philosophy that had guided him through decades of restorations and countless machines. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees lining the valley, carrying with it the sense of pine, earth, and oil, blending the natural world with the crafted, reminding everyone present that these restorations existed not in isolation, but as part of a larger tapestry of time, memory, and experience. Fiona returned with a set of specialized tools, her movements precise and fluid, a choreography honed by years of practice, and she began disassembling parts of the Impala's transmission, each component revealing layers of wear, corrosion, and history, yet also possibilities, the promise of revival embedded in every gear, spring, and lever. Carl, humming an old tune that seemed to fit the rhythm of the workshop, handled the engine mounts with the ease of someone who had seen thousands of these exact challenges, his hands moving in tandem with his thoughts, intuitive and deliberate, a seamless blend of mind and muscle. Jenna circled the car, adjusting her lens to capture the textures, reflections, and shadows, documenting the transformation in a way that transcended mere photography, framing each image as a study of patience, perseverance, and the almost poetic beauty of resurrection. The Mustang, parked nearby, glimmered under the afternoon sun, its engine purring like a contented beast, drawing attention and admiration not just from the team but from passersby who occasionally stopped at the edge of the yard, drawn by the sight of a car that had been returned to life, wondering at the dedication, skill, and heart that had made such a transformation possible. Michael and Lily worked side by side, their hands occasionally brushing as they passed tools or shared measurements, the tacit understanding between them growing stronger with every adjustment, every turn of a bolt, a silent conversation of focus, trust, and shared purpose. The Impala began to respond more confidently as they fine-tuned the carburetor and ignition system, the engine's hesitant sputters gradually transforming into a steady, assured rhythm, as if recognizing that the team's efforts were genuine, that the machine itself was in good hands, and that the road ahead, long and winding though it might be, was no longer a path it faced alone. Outside, clouds gathered ominously, the hint of rain threatening, yet inside the workshop, the atmosphere remained charged with light and motion, a microcosm of creativity and determination impervious to the whims of weather or time. Fiona carefully replaced worn components, each decision guided by experience, intuition, and an understanding of the machine's history, ensuring that every gear and joint was restored to a state of optimal function, while preserving the integrity and character of the original design. Carl's hands, scarred and steady, worked on the suspension, aligning, adjusting, and anticipating, treating each part as both a challenge and a puzzle. A conversation with decades of automotive evolution condensed into metal, rubber, and grease. Lily recorded every adjustment, every measurement, and every anomaly, her notes a mixture of observation and interpretation, capturing not just the technical steps but the essence of what it meant to breathe life back into a machine, understanding that restoration was as much about storytelling as it was about mechanics. Jenna captured it all, her camera clicking and whirring softly, freezing moments that would never occur again, framing images that spoke of transformation, patience, and the ephemeral beauty of human interaction with objects that carried history. Michael paused for a moment, wiping sweat from his brow, and surveyed the yard. The Mustang gleaming, the Impala gradually awakening, and beyond them, the quiet promise of countless other vehicles waiting for attention, each with its own story, its own challenges, its own potential for revival. "You know," he said, almost to himself but loud enough for Lily to hear. "Every car here is a story frozen in time, waiting for someone to turn the pages, to listen, to understand. And we're not just mechanics, we're storytellers, archaeologists of motion and memory." Lily smiled, her eyes reflecting a mixture of awe and inspiration, realizing that the act of restoration was not merely technical but deeply philosophical. A dialogue between past and present, metal and mind, history and imagination. The Impala coughed again, a brief reminder of the challenges still ahead, and Michael knelt beside it, running his hands over the engine block, feeling the subtle vibrations, listening to the uneven rhythm, adjusting, correcting, coaxing, as though he could communicate directly with the machine in a language only they shared. Outside, a faint drizzle began to fall, the raindrops tapping against the workshop roof and windows, creating a rhythmic backdrop to the symphony of engines, tools, and human voices within, a natural accompaniment to the mechanical resurrection taking place beneath the fluorescent lights in sun-streaked windows. Fiona carefully cleaned and replaced the brake lines, each motion precise, methodical, and mindful of both function and historical accuracy, ensuring that the car could not only run but run safely and faithfully to its original character. Carl adjusted the transmission mounts, realigning and fine-tuning, his movements both deliberate and fluid, a testament to decades of accumulated skill, the kind of instinct that could not be taught but only honed through experience and attention. Michael and Lily collaborated closely, discussing torque specifications, fuel ratios, and timing sequences, their words a mix of technical jargon and shared intuition, a conversation as much about trust and understanding as about mechanics. Jenna shifted angles, capturing the reflections of the Impala's polished chrome against the dull patina of other vehicles, juxtaposing new life against dormant history, the visual narrative reinforcing the thematic resonance of revival, perseverance, and the interplay between past and present. As the hours slipped by, the Impala responded more consistently, the engine's rhythm growing stronger, more confident, as though it recognized the care and patience invested in its revival, a testament to the human ability to bridge time through dedication and skill. Michael stepped back, allowing the team to work around him, watching as the Impala slowly regained its form, not just physically but in spirit, the subtle glint of sunlight on polished metal reflecting the culmination of effort, respect, and understanding. Outside, the rain intensified briefly, but within the workshop, the environment was one of warmth, focus, and quiet celebration, each member of the team contributing their unique skills to the collective act of restoration, each recognizing that what they were creating was not merely a functional machine but a vessel of memory, emotion, and historical significance. The Mustang and Impala, parked side by side, represented different eras, different challenges, and different triumphs, yet both bore the unmistakable mark of revival, a shared story of patience, expertise, and respect for the past, illustrating that even the most neglected vehicles could be coaxed back to life, carrying with them the essence of the time from which they came. Michael, wiping his hands on a rag, looked around the workshop and felt a profound sense of fulfillment, understanding that the day's efforts were more than mechanical tasks. They were acts of connection, dialogue, and preservation, each restored vehicle a bridge linking past, present, and future in ways both tangible and intangible. And in that realization, surrounded by the hum of engines, the rhythm of tools, and the presence of those who shared his vision, he knew that Rust Valley was more than a restoration shop. It was a sanctuary, a laboratory of history, and a place where time itself could be negotiated, rewritten, and honored one car at a time. The Impala, now slowly gathering confidence under the hands of its devoted restorers, seemed almost aware of its surroundings, the faint vibrations of the engine resonating like a heartbeat that had been silent for decades, and Michael found himself marveling at the complexity not only of the machinery but of the stories embedded in each curve of metal, each worn bolt, each faded patch of paint, realizing that every restoration carried with it the echoes of previous owners, past journeys, long forgotten adventures, and unspoken moments that had been trapped in steel and rubber, waiting for a patient hand to release them back into the world. Outside, the drizzle had softened to a mist, the valley shrouded in a silvery haze that blurred the boundaries between past and present, giving the workshop an almost ethereal glow as light filtered through droplets on the windows, and inside, the air was thick with the scent of oil, metal, and polish, mingling with the faint aroma of coffee from a neglected cup on the counter, a reminder of long hours spent in pursuit of precision and perfection. Lily leaned over the Impala's open hood, squinting at a stubborn carburetor linkage that refused to align perfectly, muttering under her breath as she adjusted it with a series of precise, deliberate movements, her fingers smudged with grease, her expression a combination of concentration and satisfaction, and Michael watched her, noting the careful balance of enthusiasm and discipline that had allowed her to become an indispensable part of the team in such a short time, a rare combination of insight, intuition, and tireless curiosity that complemented his own obsessive attention to detail. Fiona, meanwhile, was sorting through a box of chrome trim pieces for the Impala, examining each one meticulously for signs of wear, minor dents, or corrosion, knowing that even the smallest imperfection could disrupt the harmony of the restoration, and she handled each piece as though it were both fragile and sacred, a tangible link to the car's original design and character, her hands steady, her mind alert, and her focus unwavering even as Carl moved to tighten suspension mounts with the practiced ease of someone who had spent a lifetime negotiating the delicate balance between metal, force, and motion. Jenna shifted positions around the car, camera poised, capturing angles that highlighted the interplay of light and shadow on polished metal and rust, the tension between restored and yet-to-be-restored sections, the subtle gestures and glances of the team as they moved in synchrony, each frame a visual narrative that transcended simple documentation and spoke instead of patience, dedication, and the beauty of human interaction with objects that carried memory and history. The Mustang, parked nearby, had become a kind of benchmark for the day, its engine purring steadily as it rested, a testament to what careful, methodical work could accomplish, and Michael occasionally glanced at it, comparing vibrations, sounds, and mechanical responses, using it as a reference point for adjustments, a silent collaborator in the Impala's revival. Hours melted away unnoticed as the team continued their work, each member immersed in their own rhythm yet connected by a shared purpose, a collective understanding that the act of restoring a car was as much about honoring its history as it was about achieving functionality, and that every bolt, every turn of the wrench, every clean surface was a dialogue with time itself, a negotiation between past and present. The Impala began to show signs of renewed life, the engine running smoother, the idle steady, the vibrations even, and Michael felt a surge of quiet satisfaction, knowing that each adjustment had contributed to this moment of transformation, each careful intervention a bridge to the car's former glory. Lily stepped back for a moment, wiping her hands on a rag, observing the car with a mixture of awe and analytical curiosity, noting subtle changes in sound, alignment, and movement, mentally cataloging what had worked, what still needed attention, and what small interventions might yield the greatest improvements, understanding that true restoration was a combination of science, intuition, and artistry, an alchemy of metal, history, and human care. Fiona joined her, holding a small panel of chrome that had been polished to a mirror finish, and together they examined it against the car's body, assessing alignment, curvature, and light reflection, ensuring that the final assembly would be both mechanically sound and visually harmonious, a testament to the meticulous standards that defined Rust Valley restorers. Carl, humming softly, continued his work on the suspension, feeling every movement through the tools in his hands, anticipating resistance, compensating for irregularities, balancing old wear against new integrity, his experience allowing him to predict outcomes with near-perfect accuracy, and his quiet diligence contributed to the invisible framework that held the Impala's renewed vitality together. Jenna moved closer, capturing the interactions, the small adjustments, the exchange of tools and knowledge, photographing not just the mechanical transformations but the human ones, the patience, focus, and camaraderie that imbued the shop with its unique energy, a sense that the work being done was part of something larger than itself, a continuum of effort, respect, and preservation that extended beyond the vehicles into the very heart of the valley. As the afternoon waned, Michael decided it was time to test the Impala more thoroughly, guiding the team in a careful sequence of checks: engine temperature, fluid levels, brake responsiveness, and alignment, each step executed with precision and deliberation, each observation noted and considered for its impact on performance and safety, ensuring that when the car finally returned to the road, it would do so with confidence and respect for both its past and its present. Lily assisted in each check, her observations detailed and insightful, asking questions, proposing minor adjustments, and offering feedback that revealed not only her growing technical knowledge but also her deepening understanding of the philosophy behind restoration. The idea that a car was more than its components. It was a narrative, a vessel of time, and a canvas for human interaction. Fiona rotated through the parts inventory, ensuring that each replacement was accurate in material, fit, and finish, maintaining the balance between preservation of original elements and the practical necessity of functional repairs, a balance that defined the ethos of the workshop and allowed every restored vehicle to honor its history while embracing renewed purpose. Carl adjusted final torque settings, double-checked alignments, and ensured that every suspension component worked in harmony, his experience guiding his hands to anticipate the subtle shifts and stresses that could compromise performance if neglected, and his quiet focus provided a stabilizing presence for the team, a reminder that restoration required both skill and patience, insight and humility. Jenna, sensing a pivotal moment, shifted her camera to capture the first ignition of the Impala after its series of adjustments, framing the shot to include reflections, shadows, and human expressions, knowing that these photographs would not merely record the mechanics but would immortalize the interaction between humans, machines, and time, creating a visual story as layered and complex as the restoration itself. Outside, the mist lifted slightly, sunlight breaking through clouds and scattered beams, illuminating the yard and glinting off chrome and polished metal, as though nature itself were acknowledging the labor and dedication within the workshop, highlighting the Impala's transformation from neglected relic to living, breathing embodiment of history. Michael turned the key once more, the engine firing with a confidence that was unmistakable, a steady, powerful rhythm that filled the shop with sound and vibration, a tangible proof that patience, expertise, and teamwork could resurrect more than machines. They could resurrect stories, experiences, and connections long thought dormant. The team watched with quiet satisfaction as the Impala idled, the subtle hum resonating through the floor and walls, a song of revival, a testament to their craft and to the philosophy that had guided Rust Valley restorers for years, that every vehicle was a time machine, a bridge between eras, and that the act of bringing it back to life was as much about honoring memory as it was about creating functional beauty. Lily smiled, leaning against the workbench, feeling the satisfaction of knowledge gained and lessons absorbed, understanding that each restoration carried layers of technical detail, historical context, and emotional resonance, and that being part of this process was both a privilege and a responsibility. Fiona placed the final polished trim pieces in their designated locations, aligning reflections, angles, and finishes with care, ensuring that the visual narrative of the Impala matched its mechanical resurgence, that the story of its revival would be both seen and felt. Carl wiped his hands, nodding with approval at the results of the day's work, his quiet satisfaction a subtle acknowledgement of the complexity, effort, and skill required to return the vehicle to life, and his calm presence reinforced the ethos of patience, precision, and respect that permeated the workshop. Jenna moved among the team, taking candid photographs of expressions, interactions, and the subtle shifts in mood that marked the culmination of hours of work, understanding that these images would capture more than a restoration. They would capture the essence of collaboration, focus, and the delicate dance between human effort and mechanical response. As the Impala's engine continued its steady hum, Michael looked around the shop, at the vehicles waiting in line, at the team whose dedication made revival possible, and at the valley beyond, where time seemed to flow differently within the walls of this sanctuary, and he realized once again that Rust Valley Restorers was more than a workshop. It was a haven for history, a laboratory for memory, and a place where time machines could awaken and carry their stories forward, ensuring that the past, though dormant, was never truly lost. The Impala, now humming confidently like a creature returned to life, rolled slowly across the workshop floor, each turn of the tires over the concrete a gentle reminder of the power that had been meticulously restored, and Michael followed closely, listening to every nuance, every subtle vibration, feeling through his fingertips the resonance of decades-old engineering renewed, a connection that transcended metal and oil and entered the realm of intuition, memory, and respect for craftsmanship. While Lily trailed just behind, clipboard in hand, recording observations and noting potential areas for fine-tuning, her gaze shifting between the engine, suspension, and body panels with the careful attention of a scholar studying an ancient text. Each detail cataloged not just for technical accuracy but for the story it told about what this car had endured and what it was now capable of. Outside, the valley was bathed in the soft light of a late afternoon, the mist from the morning rain now a gentle haze, diffusing the sunlight into a golden glow that spilled through the windows, illuminating chrome and rust alike, and the workshop itself seemed suspended in a timeless bubble where history, craft, and passion converged, each restorer fully absorbed in the act of breathing life back into machines that had once been considered forgotten. Fiona moved along the perimeter of the Impala, carefully aligning the newly polished trim with the car's body lines, her hands steady, her eyes critical yet gentle, balancing precision with reverence, aware that every adjustment carried weight, not only for the car's appearance but for the integrity of its revival, ensuring that the vehicle would not only function flawlessly, but also reflect the artistry and spirit of its original design. Carl, his hands steady from decades of practice, inspected the suspension and drivetrain components once more, making subtle adjustments that only an experienced eye could discern, each movement purposeful, deliberate, and almost meditative, a silent dialogue with metal, torque, and alignment that brought the Impala closer to the ideal balance of performance and authenticity. Jenna moved quietly among the team, capturing the interplay of light and shadow across polished surfaces and matte finishes, her lens attuned to the expressions, gestures, and unspoken communication that filled the workshop with energy, curiosity, and focus, documenting not just a mechanical process but the human drama, the stories woven into the act of restoration, the way patience, skill, and determination transformed rust and decay into life and motion. Michael crouched beside the Impala, listening to the subtle variations in the engine's rhythm, adjusting the timing and fuel mixture, making tiny calibrations that had enormous implications, and felt the thrill of being in perfect sync with the machine, each click, turn, and vibration a note in a symphony of mechanical resurrection, the culmination of knowledge, experience, and instinct converging into a moment of profound creation. Lily, noticing a slight irregularity in the idle, leaned closer, her hands moving carefully as she suggested a minor adjustment, and Michael nodded, appreciating both her observation and her growing confidence, recognizing that her contribution was no longer that of an apprentice but of a collaborator, someone whose eyes and mind were attuned to the subtle language of machinery, the silent signals that spoke volumes about condition, history, and potential. Outside, the wind stirred the leaves, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and pine, mingling with the aroma of engine oil and metal polish, creating a sensory tapestry that seemed to echo the workshop's rhythm, the fusion of nature and human ingenuity, past and present, stillness and motion, all converging in the quiet cathedral of rust, chrome, and determination that had become their sanctuary. The Impala's engine grew smoother, more confident, as they fine-tuned the carburetor and ignition system, and the car seemed to respond almost appreciatively, vibrating with a subtle intensity that communicated both its revived vitality and its cautious recognition of the care it had received, a partnership between human skill and mechanical memory. Fiona adjusted the final bolts on the trim and accessories, checking alignment, reflections, and fit, her movements precise, confident, yet infused with respect for the original design, understanding that even the smallest imperfection could compromise the authenticity and beauty of the finished vehicle, and knowing that her diligence would be rewarded when the Impala finally returned to the road as a fully realized time machine, carrying its stories forward. Carl tested the steering and suspension again, feeling for resistance, unevenness, or vibrations that might compromise the experience, making subtle tweaks and adjustments, guided by instinct and experience, a process that required both patience and an intimate understanding of the machine's mechanical memory, the cumulative wear, and the potential for restored harmony. Michael and Lily ran through a sequence of tests, listening for anomalies, observing vibrations, and noting responses to minor adjustments, discussing possibilities in quiet, precise language, each phrase a careful articulation of insight, concern, and anticipation, blending technical precision with human intuition, ensuring that the final product would be as alive in function as it was in spirit. Jenna captured these interactions, her camera a witness to the quiet poetry of restoration, framing moments that conveyed the complexity, patience, and almost sacred reverence that defined Rust Valley restorers, recording not merely mechanical actions but the emotional, intellectual, and collaborative processes that brought each vehicle back to life, preserving the invisible threads of connection that tied human and machine together. As the Impala's engine idled steadily, Michael allowed himself a moment to step back and observe, seeing not just a car but the culmination of countless hours, meticulous planning, and collaborative effort, a living testament to history reclaimed and given a new lease on life, its body gleaming, its components harmonized, and its spirit restored. Lily, standing nearby, shared a quiet smile with Michael, an acknowledgement of the shared journey, the learning, and the satisfaction of seeing theory, skill, and intuition manifest in tangible form, each of them understanding that restoration was as much about emotional resonance as mechanical correctness, that every vehicle carried stories and echoes that deserved to be honored. Outside, the last slanting rays of sunlight broke through clouds, illuminating chrome, glass, and polished surfaces in a display that seemed almost ceremonial, casting the Impala in a halo of brilliance, a visual metaphor for resurrection, transformation, and the power of human dedication to restore what was once lost. Fiona and Carl completed their final checks, ensuring that every bolt, bracket, and moving component was secure, aligned, and functioning as intended, their experience allowing them to predict issues before they manifested, to anticipate wear and stress, and to reinforce the integrity of the vehicle in ways that only meticulous craftsmanship could achieve. Michael leaned against the Impala, reflecting on the broader implications of their work, recognizing that restoration was not simply a technical endeavor but a dialogue with history, an act of preservation, and a way to honor the passage of time, to acknowledge both the fragility and resilience of human creativity, and to give new life to objects that carried the memories, emotions, and dreams of those who had encountered them before. Lily, clipboard in hand, made final notes recording performance, alignment, and mechanical responses, her writing precise, analytical, and thoughtful, capturing not just data but the intangible qualities that marked the car's rebirth. Understanding that their documentation would inform future restorations, providing guidance, context, and insight. For those who would follow in their footsteps, Jenna moved among them, capturing the interplay of light, shadow, reflection, and human interaction, creating images that were at once documentary and artistic, visual testimonies to the philosophy, effort, and collaborative spirit that had transformed a neglected 1959 Impala into a vibrant, functioning, and emotionally resonant time machine. The Mustang, gleaming nearby, served as a silent companion and reminder of what had been accomplished, a benchmark and inspiration, illustrating the results of careful planning, skill, and devotion, and lending a sense of continuity and achievement to the workshop's ongoing symphony of restoration. As the afternoon transitioned into evening, the Impala rolled forward under its own power, the tires crunching against the concrete, its engine a confident, steady hum, and Michael felt a profound satisfaction, understanding that they had not only revived a machine but also bridged decades, giving life to memories, experiences, and stories that might otherwise have remained dormant, silent, and forgotten. In the quiet that followed, punctuated only by the gentle purr of engines and the occasional clink of tools, Michael surveyed his team, each member absorbed in their own tasks yet united by a shared purpose, and recognized that the essence of Rust Valley Restorers was not only technical skill but empathy, respect, and the willingness to engage in the delicate, rewarding act of resurrection, where past and present converged in steel, chrome, and human intention. The Impala and Mustang, parked side by side, gleamed under the fading light. More than vehicles, they were symbols, emissaries of time, memory, and craftsmanship, testaments to the transformative power of patience, knowledge, and collaboration, each carrying forward the echoes of past owners' journeys and adventures, now alive again in a form that honored both history and the present moment. As evening settled over the valley, casting long shadows across the workshop and bathing the Rust Valley in a gentle amber glow. Michael moved from the Impala to the Mustang, checking every detail with the careful eye of someone who treated every restoration not as a job but as a dialogue with history itself, feeling through the vibrations, listening to subtle shifts in rhythm, and observing the alignment of panels and trim, as though they were lines of a text that needed to be read and understood, each nuance carrying meaning beyond the physical, each imperfection a story waiting to be interpreted. Lily followed closely, notebook in hand, recording observations, sketching diagrams, and noting measurements, her attention divided between practical mechanics and the philosophical implications of their work, realizing that restoring a car was more than fixing metal. It was reviving memories, interpreting decades-old choices, and connecting with lives and experiences that had intersected with these machines long before she had ever walked into the workshop. Outside, the valley's mist began to thicken, curling around the skeletal outlines of dormant vehicles, the faint scent of rain and pine merging with the sharp tang of oil, metal polish, and engine heat inside the workshop, creating an atmosphere thick with the presence of both nature and human endeavor. A reminder that restoration existed at the intersection of organic and mechanical, past and present, decay and renewal. Fiona worked methodically along the Mustang's body, carefully aligning polished trim, buffing subtle imperfections, and checking for evenness in reflection and line, her movements precise yet imbued with a sense of reverence for the original craftsmanship, understanding that the visual narrative of the car was as important as its mechanical integrity, and that beauty and functionality were inseparable in a true restoration. Carl, moving with quiet purpose, focused on the suspension and drivetrain, adjusting mounts, bushings, and joints with the practiced intuition of someone who had spent decades feeling the subtle language of machines, translating resistance, vibration, and alignment into actionable adjustments that harmonize the mechanical systems, ensuring the car would not only function, but communicate its vitality through performance and responsiveness. Jenna circled the Mustang, capturing the interplay of light, reflection, and shadow on chrome, metal, and glass, framing the human interactions, the quiet gestures, the focused expressions of the team, each image a visual narrative of patience, collaboration, and the almost sacred rhythm of bringing life back to dormant vehicles, documenting not merely restoration but the essence of dedication, craftsmanship, and connection. Michael adjusted the ignition and timing, listening to the engine's subtle shifts in tone, feeling the vibrations travel through the frame, interpreting each quiver, pause, and rumble as a signal from the machine, an internal dialogue of feedback and response, understanding that true restoration required patience, intuition, and a willingness to engage deeply with the mechanics, history, and spirit of the car. Lily assisted, her hands and eyes tracing the engine bay, suggesting minute adjustments, and absorbing every nuance of technique and reasoning, learning not just about mechanical function but about the philosophy of restoration, the idea that every vehicle was a living archive, a time machine whose revival depended on understanding both the material and the intangible aspects of its history. Outside, the rain began in earnest, the rhythmic patter against the roof and windows blending with the hum of idling engines and the occasional clink of tools, creating a soundscape that was almost meditative, a fusion of human effort, mechanical revival, and the natural world, each element reinforcing the others in a symphony of restoration and reflection. The Mustang responded with greater confidence to Michael's adjustments, the engine's rhythm steady, smooth, and resonant, a tangible proof of the collaboration between intuition, skill, and experience, and as it purred beneath his hands, he felt the deep satisfaction of not just mechanical success but of breathing new life into history, ensuring that the past could continue to speak through sound, motion, and presence. Fiona replaced a final set of trim pieces, checking fit, alignment, and reflection, ensuring that every detail adhered to the standards that Rust Valley restorers had cultivated over years of meticulous work, blending respect for originality with the necessity of practical restoration, a delicate balance that elevated each vehicle from a functional object to a living testament to the past. Carl adjusted the steering and suspension again, feeling for subtle inconsistencies, ensuring that every turn, every movement, and every reaction of the car was precise, deliberate, and harmonious, translating decades of wear into a performance that was both authentic and exhilarating, and in doing so reinforcing the workshop's ethos of excellence, care, and respect for mechanical memory. Michael and Lily ran a final sequence of tests, observing vibrations, noting responses, and making micro-adjustments, each decision guided by accumulated knowledge, intuition, and a deep understanding of the vehicle's histories. Recognizing that true restoration required both precision and patience, the ability to balance mechanical reality with the intangible essence of time, memory, and emotional resonance. Jenna moved among the team, her camera capturing subtle gestures, expressions, and moments of focus and quiet triumph, documenting the interplay between human intention, mechanical complexity, and the revival of objects that carried histories far beyond their metal, rubber, and glass, preserving not just technique but the emotion, thought, and collaboration that defined Rust Valley restorers. Outside, the valley's mist began to thin as the rain eased, sunlight breaking through in scattered shafts, illuminating chrome, glass, and polished metal with a glow that seemed almost sacred, casting long reflections and shadows that highlighted both the physical restoration and the intangible revival of spirit that had taken place within the workshop walls. The Impala, now fully awakened, sat beside the Mustang like an elder and a youth, each vehicle a time machine in its own right, embodying different eras, challenges, and triumphs, yet both carrying the unmistakable mark of care, skill, and dedication, symbols of the valley's ongoing dialogue between past and present, memory and motion, rust and revival. Michael, stepping back to observe both vehicles, felt a surge of satisfaction tempered with humility, recognizing that restoration was not merely a technical achievement but an act of stewardship, a conscious effort to honor history, preserve experience, and give life to objects that carried more than metal. They carried identity, narrative, and legacy. Lily, notebook closed and hands wiped clean of grease, watched the vehicles with quiet admiration, internalizing lessons that went beyond mechanics, understanding that the act of bringing a car back to life was also an engagement with time, culture, and emotion, a way to bridge the gap between decades and make tangible the abstract connections between people, machines, and memory. Fiona, Carl, and Jenna shared quiet nods of acknowledgement, the culmination of a day's labor reflected not only in the revived vehicles but in the mutual understanding that their collaboration, skill, and patience had transformed neglected relics into instruments of history, capable of evoking memory, wonder, and respect from anyone who encountered them. The workshop itself seemed to breathe in rhythm with the engines, the hum of activity, and the soft light filtering through rain-speckled windows, a microcosm of dedication, skill, and reverence, a sanctuary where rusted steel could be transformed into living, breathing carriers of stories, and where time itself seemed flexible, responsive to human attention and care. Michael knelt briefly by the Impala, running a hand along the smooth contours of its hood, feeling the subtle vibrations and warmth, a tactile confirmation of vitality restored, and he smiled, recognizing that this was the reward for hours of meticulous attention, patience, and understanding. The moment when the past, present, and future converged in motion, sound, and presence, a fleeting yet profound affirmation that their work mattered. Outside, the valley stretched endlessly, the rain now a memory, sunlight glinting off distant trees and hills, a natural backdrop to the human-crafted miracle of restoration, and Michael realized once more that Rust Valley Restorers was not simply a workshop but a laboratory of history, a place where the ephemeral and the tangible met, and where time machines, cars, memories, stories, were returned to life with reverence, precision, and love. The Mustang and Impala, side by side in the fading light, gleamed as symbols of what could be achieved when skill, patience, and understanding met history and human desire, proof that even the most neglected relics could roar again, carrying with them the essence of eras past and the promise of continued journeys, each one a testament to the extraordinary power of restoration to transcend time, to resurrect memory, and to remind all who encountered them that the past, though dormant, was never truly lost. Night settled over the Rust Valley, the workshop bathed in the soft glow of overhead lights that reflected off polished metal and chrome, creating a warm, almost sacred atmosphere that contrasted with the cool darkness outside, and Michael moved slowly between the Mustang and Impala, inspecting each vehicle with the meticulous care of a historian handling priceless artifacts, his hands tracing lines, curves, and joints, listening to vibrations, and noting subtle shifts in alignment and sound, each observation a dialogue between him and the machines, an unspoken exchange that required patience, intuition, and respect for the decades of history embedded in every surface and component. Lily followed closely, flashlight in hand, cross-referencing her notes with the vehicle's condition, her mind processing both technical data and the broader implications of restoration, recognizing that their work was not simply mechanical but a form of storytelling, an attempt to bridge the temporal gap between past owners' journeys and experiences, giving them a voice that had been silenced by neglect, rust, and time. Outside, the valley lay in quiet darkness, the faint outline of distant hills and trees softened by lingering mist, the smell of damp earth and pine blending with the familiar sense of oil, metal, and wax inside the workshop, creating an atmosphere that was both grounding and otherworldly, as though the space itself existed outside of linear time, where past, present, and future converged in the act of restoration. Fiona was focused on the Mustang's interior, carefully inspecting and cleaning upholstery, ensuring that the texture, color, and authenticity matched its original era, understanding that tactile and visual fidelity were as important as mechanical function, and that every stitch, seam, and panel told a story that must be preserved and honored. Carl, crouched beside the Impala, adjusted final components in the suspension and drivetrain, feeling for resistance, wear, and alignment discrepancies, his hands moving with the quiet confidence of someone whose experience allowed him to anticipate problems before they manifested, ensuring that each vehicle would respond flawlessly to the demands of both road and time, balancing historical accuracy with modern precision. Jenna moved deliberately around both vehicles, capturing reflections, shadows, and the subtle interplay of light on polished surfaces, her camera recording more than restoration. It captured the essence of collaboration, focus, and reverence for history, freezing moments that would never recur, moments in which human skill, patience, and intuition interacted with metal, steel, and memory to create something greater than the sum of its parts. Michael knelt by the Impala, listening to the engine's smooth hum, making tiny adjustments to timing, carburation, and fuel mixture, each tweak a conversation with decades-old engineering, interpreting the responses of the machine as though it were speaking directly to him, acknowledging his skill, patience, and care, and in return communicating confidence, stability, and readiness to be driven once more. Lily, leaning over the engine bay, suggested minor adjustments based on subtle changes in vibration and sound, and Michael nodded, appreciating the insight, realizing that her growing expertise and intuitive understanding of machinery made her not just a student but a true collaborator, someone capable of interpreting the silent language of cars and translating it into action, precision, and restoration. Outside, the night deepened, stars faintly visible above the valley, their distant light a reminder of the vastness of time and space, of human mortality, and of the fleeting nature of all things. Yet inside the workshop, time seemed to bend, slowed by concentration, reverence, and the act of breathing life back into these vehicles, turning moments into hours, hours into memories, and mechanical revival into almost spiritual experience. Fiona placed the final polished chrome pieces on the Mustang, adjusting alignment and curvature with painstaking attention, ensuring that reflections were flawless, that surfaces caught the light in a way that honored the vehicle's era, and that every detail communicated care, respect, and fidelity to its original design, transforming the car from a functional object into a living narrative of history and craft. Carl checked the steering, suspension, and drivetrain one last time, feeling the subtle interplay of forces, confirming that each component operated in harmony, a quiet affirmation that their work would not only survive static inspection but dynamic use, capable of conveying power, control, and responsiveness as intended by the original engineers while maintaining the integrity of the restoration. Michael and Lily ran through a series of tests, from idle adjustments to gentle acceleration within the workshop, listening to the subtle tonalities of engine sound, vibration, and response, interpreting every nuance and making minor corrections where needed, an almost meditative process in which human attention and mechanical feedback existed in perfect synchrony, each influencing the other in a continuous loop of communication, correction, and collaboration. Jenna circled both cars repeatedly, capturing images that highlighted the interplay of light, texture, reflection, and human interaction, documenting not just the mechanical results but the process, the effort, and the care invested in each decision, framing each shot to emphasize the beauty, precision, and emotional resonance of restoration as both art and science. As the engines purred steadily, Michael paused to consider the broader significance of their work, recognizing that every restored vehicle was more than metal and rubber. It was a time machine, a vessel for memory, experience, and narrative, capable of transporting anyone who encountered it into the past, allowing them to feel, see, and imagine the journeys, lives, and emotions that had once intertwined with its wheels, body, and engine. Lily observed his quiet contemplation, understanding instinctively that restoration carried a responsibility that extended beyond the workshop, beyond the immediate satisfaction of mechanical perfection, and into the realm of memory, culture, and human connection, a recognition that their work preserved not just vehicles but fragments of history, identity, and experience. Fiona and Carl completed their final rounds of checks, tightening bolts, confirming alignment, and ensuring that every component, interior panel, and piece of trim reflected both authenticity and functionality, the culmination of hours of meticulous effort, knowledge, and intuition, while Jenna moved between them, capturing the subtle beauty of restored lines, polished surfaces, and expressions of quiet triumph that punctuated the long, focused day. Outside, the valley lay hushed, the stars clearer now, the mist dissipated, and the faint whisper of wine through the trees a gentle accompaniment to the quiet symphony within the workshop, where engines hummed, tools clicked, and human care brought history back to life, a process that was simultaneously technical, emotional, and almost spiritual. Michael approached the Mustang for a final inspection, running a hand along the hood, listening to the engine's smooth, confident rhythm, and observing the polished surfaces glinting in the warm overhead light, each reflection and shadow a testament to the effort, skill, and dedication invested in the restoration, and a reminder that the act of bringing life back to these machines was as much about honoring the past as it was about celebrating human ingenuity, patience, and devotion. Lily, observing from nearby, took careful notes, recording measurements, observations, and recommendations for any minor fine-tuning that might be required later, understanding that documentation was as critical to restoration as hands-on work, preserving the knowledge, decisions, and reasoning that ensured the continued success and fidelity of their efforts. The Impala, now fully operational and responsive, sat beside the Mustang as a companion in history, a living testament to the team's skill, attention, and care, each car carrying the invisible echoes of owners' journeys and experiences from decades past, now revived and ready to tell its story once more, not just as a machine but as a vessel for memory and narrative. Michael stepped back, taking in the scene. The gleaming vehicles, the team's quiet satisfaction, the workshop bathed in warm light amidst the cool darkness of night, and felt a profound sense of fulfillment, understanding that Rust Valley Restorers was more than a shop. It was a sanctuary where time, memory, and human skill converged, creating moments of resurrection, connection, and beauty that transcended the boundaries of metal and mechanics. Outside, the valley seemed to stretch endlessly, the quiet hum of distant nocturnal life accompanying the mechanical heartbeat within, and Michael realized that each vehicle restored, each engine revived, was a bridge between eras, a reminder that while time moved forward inexorably, careful hands, patient hearts, and skilled minds could preserve, honor, and reconnect with the past, keeping it alive for the future in ways both tangible and intangible. The Mustang and Impala, side by side in the glowing workshop, gleamed not only as mechanical achievements but as symbols of continuity, care, and respect for history, carrying with them the stories, memories, and journeys of decades past, now given new life and the promise of continued adventure. And in that realization, Michael knew that every restoration, no matter how small or large, was an affirmation that history, though dormant, could roar again, echoing through engines, metal, and human endeavor as a time machine that transcended generations. The quiet hum of the workshop persisted well into the night, the Mustang and Impala resting side by side like two guardians of history, their polished surfaces catching reflections from the overhead lights and giving the illusion of movement even in stillness, while Michael moved between them with the careful deliberation of someone who understood that restoration was a delicate balance of respect, intuition, and technical mastery, his hands gliding over curves, joints, and seams as he listened to vibrations, felt the warmth of engines, and interpreted the subtle language of metal and machinery, knowing that every decision had consequences not only for performance but for the integrity of the story each vehicle carried. Lily followed closely, her notebook open and pen moving continuously as she documented minute adjustments, measurements, and observations, each entry a record of mechanical revival, but also of human interaction, collaboration, and the careful cultivation of understanding that transformed a simple task into an act of narrative preservation. Outside, the valley was quiet, bathed in the soft glow of a moon breaking through scattered clouds, the faint sound of rustling leaves blending with the lingering scent of damp earth and pine, a natural backdrop to the almost sacred activity inside, where tools, oil, and polished metal became instruments in the orchestra of restoration, and every subtle click, turn, and hum was a note in a symphony that connected past, present, and future. Fiona moved with precise grace around the Impala, examining interior panels, upholstery, and trim, cleaning and polishing every surface, ensuring that even the smallest detail was faithful to the vehicle's original era, while also acknowledging that restoration was not only about fidelity but about the subtle communication between object and observer, the way a polished surface, a perfectly aligned panel, or a smoothly functioning engine could convey history, care, and reverence to those who engaged with it. Carl, crouched beside the Mustang, adjusted suspension components with a practiced eye, checking for alignment, tension, and subtle variances that could compromise performance, his hands steady and sure, guided by decades of experience and an almost instinctual understanding of mechanical behavior, the quiet focus in his movements reinforcing the ethos of precision, patience, and respect that defined Rust Valley restorers, and ensuring that every adjustment harmonized with the other components to create a balanced, responsive, and authentic driving experience. Jenna moved deliberately among the vehicles, her camera capturing reflections, textures, and the subtle interplay of light on metal, chrome, and glass, documenting the human interactions, gestures, and expressions that brought the restoration to life, framing images that conveyed not just mechanical detail but the philosophy, patience, and artistry embedded in every careful movement. Her photography transforming a technical process into a visual story of human dedication and reverence for history. Michael paused, listening to the subtle changes in engine tone and vibration as the Mustang idled gently, adjusting timing, fuel mixture, and carburation with careful precision, interpreting each response as if the machine were communicating its needs directly to him, acknowledging the patience and skill he had invested, and responding with a newfound rhythm that spoke of revival, vitality, and readiness to be experienced once more on the road. Lily leaned over the engine bay, suggesting minor tweaks based on her observations, the fluidity of her motions and the clarity of her insights reflecting a deepening mastery, a synthesis of learned knowledge, intuition, and appreciation for the silent dialogue between human and machine, and Michael felt a quiet pride in recognizing her transformation from assistant to collaborator, her understanding of the philosophy and mechanics of restoration growing with every decision and adjustment. Outside, the moonlight painted the valley in shades of silver and gray, the faint mist curling around vehicles waiting in the yard, remnants of days past and future projects, each car a dormant story waiting to be coaxed into life, while inside, the workshop thrummed with energy, focus, and reverence, a microcosm of time itself, where hours seemed to stretch and fold around the rhythm of engines, tools, and human hands, and where the past could be revisited, honored, and reawakened. Fiona replaced the final trim pieces in the Impala, adjusting reflections, alignment, and curvature with meticulous attention, understanding that perfection lay in the subtle harmony of light and form, in the seamless blend of new and old, polished and preserved, and that each decision carried implications not only for aesthetics but for the narrative integrity of the vehicle, ensuring that its history was honored even as it was made roadworthy once more. Carl moved along the Mustang, feeling suspension and drivetrain components, interpreting feedback through touch and sound, making minute corrections that would guarantee both performance and longevity, his expertise allowing him to predict and compensate for where that could otherwise go unnoticed, and in doing so, providing the foundation for the emotional and physical satisfaction of a vehicle restored with care and understanding. Michael and Lily conducted a series of tests on both vehicles, gently engaging engines, observing responses, noting idling stability, acceleration, and alignment, each step performed with deliberation and patience, every adjustment a careful negotiation between mechanics, history, and intuition, ensuring that both cars would not only function but communicate a sense of life, history, and continuity to anyone who experienced them. Jenna captured every motion, adjustment, and expression, framing her shots to highlight the interplay between human focus and mechanical transformation, her images revealing not only technical detail but the spirit of collaboration, the dedication of individuals devoted to reviving history, and the almost poetic rhythm of restoration as a dialogue between past and present. Outside, the valley grew stiller, the wind quieting, the mist dissipating, and a hush settling over the landscape, contrasting with the quiet intensity of the workshop, where engines, tools, and human attention converged to create vehicles that were both functional and historical, embodiments of stories, memories, and journeys that span decades, ready to be experienced again, revived by patience, skill, and reverence. The Mustang and Impala, now fully responsive, idling with confidence, sat side by side, symbols of resilience, history, and human ingenuity, their polished chrome and smooth lines reflecting the warm workshop light like beacons of accomplishment, proof that neglect, rust, and decay could be transformed into life, motion, and beauty through dedication, collaboration, and knowledge. Michael took a moment to step back, surveying both vehicles, the team, and the softly illuminated workshop, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment, recognizing that their work extended beyond mechanical achievement, touching memory, culture, and human connection, allowing them to preserve fragments of the past and give them new relevance, resonance, and vitality. Lily observed quietly, absorbing the philosophy that guided each choice, each adjustment, understanding that restoration was not simply a mechanical endeavor, but an engagement with history, emotion, and time, a commitment to honor what had been while enabling it to continue into the present and future. Fiona, Carl, and Jenna completed their final rounds, ensuring alignment, function, and aesthetic fidelity, while Michael knelt briefly by the Impala, running a hand along the hood, feeling the subtle warmth and vibrations, a tactile confirmation of vitality restored, a testament to hours of meticulous care, attention, and collaboration that had transformed rust, neglect, and time into living, breathing history. Outside, the night deepened, stars shimmering faintly above, while inside the workshop, light, motion, and sound created a sanctuary where past and present met, where history was honored, and where vehicles became more than machines. They became time machines, capable of carrying stories, memory, and human experience across decades, revived by hands that understood their significance. The Mustang and Impala, gleaming under the warm light, represented not just mechanical triumph but the culmination of collaboration, skill, patience, and understanding, standing as symbols of Rust Valley Restorers' philosophy that with care, reverence, and expertise, history could be resurrected, memories preserved, and time itself honored, one restored vehicle at a time. The first hints of dawn crept over the Rust Valley, painting the workshop in muted shades of gold and silver, and Michael moved quietly between the Impala and Mustang, checking final adjustments with the deliberate patience of someone who understood that every detail mattered, every vibration, every reflection, every subtle nuance in sound or movement was a piece of the narrative that had been dormant for decades, now coaxed back into life by human hands, skill, and care. Lily followed closely, notebook in hand, her pen moving as she recorded minor observations, potential future refinements, and reflections on the vehicle's responses, understanding that documentation was not merely technical but a philosophical engagement with history, a bridge between what was and what could be, a way to ensure that the revival of each car preserved both function and story. Outside, the valley shimmered with dew, the trees and grass glistening faintly as the morning sun filtered through lingering mist, the scent of earth and pine mingling with the familiar aroma of oil, wax, and metal from the workshop, creating a sensory environment that seemed to exist outside time, where the past could be touched, felt, and heard in the hum of engines and the soft click of tools. Fiona meticulously inspected the Impala's interior, ensuring that upholstery, panels, and controls were aligned, functional, and faithful to the car's original design, her hands moving with a blend of precision, care, and respect, understanding that the tactile and visual authenticity of each component communicated history and intention as clearly as any mechanical restoration. Carl crouched beside the Mustang, making small adjustments to the suspension, drivetrain, and steering, his movements precise and informed by decades of experience, each adjustment a silent conversation with metal, torque, and wear, translating decades of mechanical memory into harmony, ensuring that the vehicle would perform smoothly, confidently, and as it had when first built, yet with the integrity and longevity demanded by restoration. Jenna moved around both vehicles, her camera capturing light, shadow, reflection, and texture, documenting human interaction, concentration, and the subtle energy of a team dedicated to reviving history, each photograph preserving not only the technical achievement but the human story, the philosophy of care, and the almost meditative rhythm that defined Rust Valley Restorers. Michael adjusted the Mustang's timing and carburation, listening intently to the engine's response, interpreting subtle shifts in vibration and tone as communication, making micro-adjustments with deliberate precision, the act of restoration functioning simultaneously as technical procedure and dialogue with decades-old craftsmanship, each correction a respectful negotiation with history. Lily suggested minor changes based on her observations, her movements fluid and confident, reflecting her growing intuition and understanding of the philosophy underpinning restoration, recognizing that each vehicle was a living archive, a time machine whose revival required both skill and sensitivity, and whose voice was carried in sound, motion, and presence. Outside, the morning sun strengthened, piercing through lingering mist to illuminate the yard and workshop, catching the gleam of polished metal and chrome, highlighting the juxtaposition of restored and waiting vehicles, and casting the Impala and Mustang in a light that made them seem almost alive, their surfaces shimmering, breathing history back into the valley, proof that human dedication could revive not only function but essence. Fiona installed the final exterior trims on the Impala, adjusting angles, reflections, and fit with painstaking care, each movement deliberate, ensuring that the car's visual narrative matched its mechanical revival, that the story carried by every panel, bolt, and curve was preserved and honored, and that the vehicle embodied both authenticity and renewed vitality. Carl ran the final diagnostic on the Mustang suspension, testing responsiveness, alignment, and fluidity, feeling for any inconsistencies, making micro-corrections that only experience and intuition could inform, ensuring that the machine would move with confidence, precision, and harmony, a testament to the intimate understanding between human and vehicle. Michael and Lily ran a series of checks together, gently engaging engines, observing idling stability, noting vibrations, and calibrating minor adjustments, each action performed with the awareness that every car carried memories, stories, and echoes of lives intersecting with it long before restoration began, and that their task was not just functional but curatorial, preserving the intangible essence alongside mechanical integrity. Jenna captured every interaction, every gesture, every subtle change in posture or expression, documenting the nuanced human effort, the quiet triumphs, the focus and patience that transformed rust and neglect into life, narrative, and beauty, providing a visual testament to the philosophy, craft, and artistry behind each restoration. Outside, the valley was alive with morning sounds, birds chirping faintly, leaves rustling in a gentle breeze, and dew dripping from trees, but inside, the workshop maintained a quiet intensity, a sanctuary where skill, patience, and reverence met machinery to bring history back to life, where the past was translated into function, aesthetics, and experience, and where every restored vehicle became both an artifact and a time machine capable of transporting the present to eras long gone. The Mustang and Impala now idled confidently side by side, their engines smooth, their vibrations harmonious, their polished surfaces reflecting light in a display of both technical mastery and aesthetic care, and Michael felt the quiet satisfaction of knowing that these vehicles, once dormant and neglected, were now alive, functional, and capable of carrying stories forward, a tangible bridge between generations. Lily observed the revived vehicles, absorbing the significance of the moment, noting the alignment of metal, the subtle hum of engines, the reflections of light, and the interplay between human care and mechanical responsiveness, recognizing that restoration was simultaneously science, art, and narrative, a process that required empathy, understanding, and patience as much as technical skill. Fiona made one final pass, polishing chrome, adjusting reflections, and ensuring every detail communicated both history and renewed life, her work a visual articulation of respect, craftsmanship, and dedication, blending function with story in a manner that transformed mechanical revival into a living testament of memory and skill. Carl completed his final adjustments, feeling each component, checking each motion, predicting how wear would affect performance, and ensuring that every mechanical decision supported the integrity, functionality, and narrative of the vehicles, bridging decades of design, experience, and restoration knowledge in a single seamless process. Michael and Lily conducted the last sequence of tests, from gentle acceleration to idling and simulated load responses, listening, observing, and adjusting minutely, ensuring that both vehicles communicated vitality, responsiveness, and authenticity, and that the revival honored not only mechanical performance but also the intangible essence of history embedded in steel, rubber, and chrome. Jenna captured every nuance of this process, from subtle gestures to reflections of light and the interplay of focus and satisfaction across the team, producing images that told not just the story of restoration but the human narrative of collaboration, dedication, and reverence for the past, documenting the invisible threads that connected skill, patience, and historical consciousness in tangible form. As the morning progressed, sunlight brightened further, illuminating both vehicles in a display of history restored, craftsmanship honored, and human intention fulfilled, while the valley outside remained quiet, the mist fully lifted, a perfect contrast to the activity within, where the convergence of expertise, patience, and care had transformed rusted relics into living, breathing archives, ready to carry memory and story into the present and future. Michael stepped back to take in the full scene. Impala and Mustang gleaming, the team reflecting quiet pride and satisfaction, tools laid aside, and the workshop filled with the soft hum of idle engines, a moment of completion, reflection, and recognition that their work extended beyond the immediate, touching memory, history, and human connection, proving once more that vehicles could be resurrected not merely mechanically, but as carriers of time, experience, and narrative. The Impala, now fully alive, and the Mustang, confident and responsive, sat as symbols of what could be achieved when knowledge, skill, patience, and care converged, standing not only as mechanical triumphs but as reminders that history could be revived, honored, and experienced anew, each vehicle a time machine ready to carry its story into the world once more. The workshop hummed softly in the mid-morning light, engines idling gently, chrome and metal gleaming as if infused with the energy of the team's meticulous care, and Michael moved among the vehicles with an almost reverential pace, inspecting every curve, every joint, every subtle reflection with the eye of someone who understood that restoration was both science and art, the act of reviving a vehicle requiring attention to technical precision, historical fidelity, and the intangible resonance of memory embedded in steel, rubber, and glass. Lily shadowed him closely, clipboard in hand, recording each observation, adjustment, and subtle shift in vibration or tone, her notes a fusion of mechanical data and philosophical reflection, an acknowledgement that restoring a vehicle was also restoring stories, journeys, and moments that had been dormant, waiting for human hands and eyes to breathe life into them once more. Outside, the valley was bathed in a gentle morning haze, dew glittering faintly on grass and trees, the faint scent of pine and wet earth drifting in through open doors, mingling with the rich aroma of engine oil and polish inside, creating a space where human effort and nature intertwined, where the act of restoration seemed almost like a ritual, a careful ceremony of honoring the past while preparing it to live again in the present. Fiona moved with quiet precision around the Impala, her hands skilled and deliberate as she adjusted interior panels, polished trim, and inspected upholstery for fidelity and function, her work a silent testament to the understanding that every detail mattered, that even the smallest imperfection could diminish not only the aesthetic but the story the car carried, and that restoration required both patience and respect, a devotion to fidelity that transcended mere mechanics. Carl crouched beside the Mustang, feeling each suspension component, testing alignment, adjusting tension, and interpreting the subtle language of metal and movement, each micro-adjustment a dialogue informed by experience, intuition, and reverence for the original engineering, ensuring that the vehicle would move as smoothly and authentically as it had decades before while accommodating the rigors of renewed life. Jenna circled the workshop, her camera capturing the dance of light on metal, reflections in polished surfaces, and the quiet interactions between team members, framing moments that conveyed not only technical achievement, but also the philosophy and emotional resonance of restoration, preserving the human element alongside the mechanical, the process alongside the product, and the intent alongside the result. Michael leaned over the Mustang, listening intently to the engine's subtle vibrations, adjusting timing and carburation, interpreting each tonal shift as a communication from decades-old machinery, a silent conversation that required patience, attention, and understanding, each small correction a negotiation between human intention and mechanical response, ensuring that the vehicle would not only function but speak with clarity and confidence when finally driven. Lily assisted, her hands moving fluidly, her eyes sharp, noting micro-changes in response to adjustments, suggesting refinements, and absorbing knowledge that was as much about philosophy as technique, understanding that restoration was a bridge between past and present, a way to preserve not only mechanical function but memory, story, and emotion embedded in the metal, chrome, and paint of each car. Outside, sunlight strengthened, breaking fully through morning haze to illuminate the valley and workshop in warm, diffuse light, highlighting the gleam of polished surfaces and casting gentle shadows that accentuated curves and lines, creating a visual symphony of history reborn, human effort, and mechanical beauty, a setting that reinforced the almost sacred nature of their labor and the timeless quality of the vehicles under their care. Fiona applied the final touches to the Impala's exterior, adjusting reflections and trim, alignment, polishing chrome to a mirror-like finish, ensuring that the vehicle's lines and surfaces communicated both the elegance of its era and the vitality of its renewed life. Every movement a deliberate articulation of skill, patience, and respect for history, a testament to the philosophy that guided Rust Valley restorers. Carl completed a final sequence of suspension and drivetrain tests on the Mustang, checking responsiveness, tension, and alignment, interpreting subtle vibrations and feedback, and making minor adjustments to ensure the vehicle would move with precision, stability, and authenticity, blending historical fidelity with the performance expected of a revived machine. Michael and Lily performed a coordinated series of engine tests, engaging each vehicle under controlled conditions, listening to idle, acceleration, and load response, noting subtle shifts in tone and vibration, and applying micro-corrections, each step a deliberate act of dialogue with the vehicles, honoring their histories while ensuring readiness for the present and future, a process requiring focus, patience, and profound respect for the machinery and the stories they carried. Jenna documented every detail, from gestures and expressions to reflections and lighting, framing the human endeavor as part of the restoration, capturing moments where technique, intuition, and collaboration converged, producing imagery that told not just a story of metal and mechanics but of people, dedication, and the almost poetic rhythm of reviving what had been lost or dormant, preserving both narrative and craft in visual form. The Mustang and Impala, now fully functional and responsive, sat side by side, engines purring gently, chrome and paint reflecting the warm morning light, the quiet hum of restored power filling the workshop with a sense of accomplishment, life, and continuity, symbols of what can be achieved when patience, knowledge, skill, and reverence converge in human endeavor. Michael stepped back to observe, feeling a deep satisfaction not just in mechanical success but in the broader significance of their work, the preservation of history, the continuation of stories, and the creation of tangible connections between past and present, between human skill and mechanical memory, each vehicle a testament to effort, collaboration, and the passage of time reclaimed. Lily closed her notebook, wiping her hands clean, reflecting quietly on the vehicles before her, noting the harmony of lines, the confident hum of engines, and the interplay of light on surfaces, understanding that restoration was an act of empathy, connecting with experiences and journeys that had come before, ensuring that memory, narrative, and mechanical truth were all preserved together. Fiona, Carl, and Jenna moved methodically through final checks, polishing, adjusting, and documenting, their combined experience and care ensuring that every detail, from chrome trim to suspension tension to reflective surfaces, was in perfect harmony, their collective effort transforming these cars into living repositories of history, story, and skill, vehicles capable of carrying forward both memory and purpose. Outside, the valley stretched quietly, bathed in the gentle warmth of morning, dew sparkling faintly on leaves and grass, a serene backdrop to the focused activity within the workshop, where the past and present converged in the act of restoration, and where the human touch had once again resurrected objects that were more than machines. They were time machines, carriers of memory, narrative, and legacy. Michael walked between the Impala and Mustang one last time, running his hands along smooth surfaces, listening to engine hums, and confirming that every adjustment, reflection, and alignment was perfect, feeling the profound satisfaction of knowing that they had succeeded not only in mechanical revival but in restoring essence, identity, and history, creating vehicles that could transport anyone who encountered them into the stories and experiences they carried. Lily and Fiona exchanged quiet nods, understanding the depth of their achievement, that restoration required not just technical skill but patience, respect, and intuition, the ability to read the language of metal, paint, and machinery, and to preserve not just function but memory, creating living time machines that transcended the mere passage of years. Carl completed a final inspection of moving parts, ensuring responsiveness, stability, and alignment, each component harmonized with the whole, every subtle nuance accounted for, confirming that both vehicles would operate flawlessly, reliably, and authentically, a demonstration of the delicate, thoughtful, and precise nature of true restoration. Jenna moved around them, capturing images that reflected not only technical success but the human story, the quiet triumphs, the collaboration, and the dedication required to transform rust and neglect into vehicles alive with memory, presence, and function, each photograph a visual testament to the philosophy, effort, and artistry of Rust Valley restorers. As the morning sun brightened further, illuminating every surface with clarity and warmth, Michael allowed himself a quiet moment of reflection, recognizing that the Impala and Mustang were more than restored vehicles. They were symbols of time reclaimed, history honored, and human skill celebrated, living embodiments of stories, journeys, and experiences that had been dormant and were now revived, ready to carry their narrative into the present and future once more. Tangible time machines born from patience, knowledge, and care. By mid-morning, the workshop was alive with quiet purpose, the Impala and Mustang sitting side by side like sentinels of history, engines humming softly, chrome and paint reflecting warm sunlight that filtered through dust-flecked windows, and Michael moved between the vehicles with the careful precision of someone who understood that restoration was more than mechanical. It was an act of storytelling, of resurrection, of dialogue with time itself, every curve, seam, and vibration a language to be read, interpreted, and responded to. Lily followed closely, notebook and pen in hand, capturing the data, measurements, and subtle nuances that informed decisions, noting observations about engine responsiveness, alignment, and aesthetic fidelity, but also recording reflections on the philosophy underpinning their work, recognizing that restoring a car meant preserving identity, experience, and memory alongside metal and mechanics. Outside, the Rust Valley glimmered under a late morning sun, dew clinging to grass and leaves, the faint scent of pine and wet earth blending with the aroma of engine oil, polish, and metal from the workshop, creating an atmosphere where human effort and natural presence coexisted, each reinforcing the other, the world beyond seeming almost suspended while inside, time folded around the act of revival. Fiona carefully inspected the Impala's interior once more, adjusting upholstery, panels, and trim, her hands moving with a balance of precision, care, and reverence, understanding that tactile authenticity communicated history as powerfully as mechanical function, that the story embedded in fabric, leather, and metal required as much attention as the engine, suspension, and drivetrain, and that restoration was ultimately a holistic act, blending art, science, and memory. Carl crouched beside the Mustang, testing suspension response, checking alignment, feeling for resistance, and interpreting every vibration with an experienced touch, translating decades of mechanical memory into harmony, ensuring that the car would move with confidence, precision, and authenticity, while honoring the intent of the original engineers and the demands of a revived, functional life. Jenna moved among the vehicles, capturing reflections, shadow play, and gestures, documenting not only the technical process but the human story, the focus, collaboration, and subtle triumphs that defined Rust Valley restorers, framing moments where skill, patience, and intuition intersected with metal, chrome, and paint to create objects that were both functional and alive with narrative. Michael leaned over the Impala's engine, listening intently to the subtle hum, interpreting shifts in tone and vibration as communication from decades-old engineering, making minute adjustments to carburation, timing, and fuel mixture, each action a dialogue requiring patience, empathy, and respect, ensuring that the machine would not only function flawlessly but convey vitality and history simultaneously. Lily, moving fluidly beside him, suggested subtle refinements, her understanding and intuition now on par with experience, interpreting the machine's feedback with skill and sensitivity, recognizing that restoration was as much about understanding and honoring the past as it was about technical correctness, and that each car's revival was a negotiation between history, function, and human intention. Outside, sunlight spilled fully across the valley, highlighting the gleam of polished surfaces, the subtle curvature of body panels, and the interplay of shadow and reflection that animated both the vehicles and the workshop itself, a visual manifestation of the care, skill, and philosophy that had guided hours, days, and weeks of focused labor. Fiona applied final adjustments to the Impala's exterior trim, checking fit, alignment, and reflection, ensuring that every surface communicated both the aesthetic elegance of the original design and the vitality of restoration, balancing authenticity with renewed life, each movement deliberate, informed, and reverent, a dance of hands and eyes that translated history into present perfection. Carl completed the Mustang's final mechanical inspections, feeling suspension, drivetrain, and steering responses, making micro-corrections to guarantee smooth, responsive, and authentic operation, blending the integrity of original design with the demands of renewed use, a process requiring foresight, experience, and the intuitive understanding of how decades of wear, restoration, and care converged into performance. Michael and Lily engaged both engines in a series of final tests, observing idling, acceleration, and minor load responses, interpreting tonal shifts, vibrations, and performance nuances, making subtle adjustments as necessary, each action a dialogue that reaffirmed the vitality, history, and integrity of the vehicles, ensuring that they were ready not just to run but to carry forward the stories, journeys, and memories they embodied. Jenna captured the interactions, reflections, and the quiet energy of the team, her lens preserving moments that conveyed the philosophy, emotion, and artistry of restoration, documenting the intangible, the patience, care, and attention that animated the process, and the human connection with history expressed through every touch, observation, and decision. Outside, the valley seemed to pause, the world hushed around the workshop, dew glistening faintly on grass, distant hills softened by morning haze, a natural backdrop to the human-focused energy within, where past and present converged, where rust and neglect were transformed into life, and where every vehicle became more than a machine, a time machine, capable of carrying memory, story, and human experience across decades. The Mustang and Impala, now fully operational, engines steady, vibrations balanced, and polished surfaces gleaming, sat side by side as embodiments of skill, care, and history, their presence a tangible reminder that dedication, patience, and expertise could revive what was considered lost, restore vitality, and preserve legacy, connecting eras in a single moment of realization and triumph. Michael took a step back, surveying both vehicles, the workshop, and his team, feeling the profound satisfaction of accomplishment tempered with humility, knowing that the work extended beyond technical achievement to honor memory, history, and human connection, each vehicle a living testament to skill, collaboration, and the passage of time reclaimed. Lily closed her notebook, observing the Impala and Mustang with quiet admiration, noting alignment, responsiveness, reflections, and the subtle play of light and shadow, understanding that restoration was not only technical but emotional, a connection with experiences, journeys, and human history, a commitment to preserving identity, story, and memory in every polished surface, moving part, and functional component. Fiona, Carl, and Jenna completed their final rounds, ensuring every detail, from upholstery to trim, suspension to engine response, was flawless, harmonizing mechanical performance with aesthetic fidelity, preserving both the tangible and intangible qualities of each vehicle, elevating the cars from restored objects to living archives capable of transmitting memory and experience. Outside, the Rust Valley lay calm and serene, the faint rustle of leaves, distant bird calls, and gentle sunlight creating a peaceful contrast to the concentrated energy within the workshop, where human skill, patience, and respect for history had transformed metal and rubber into vessels of narrative and time, each restored vehicle a bridge across decades, carrying stories and memories forward. Michael stepped forward for one last tactile check, running his hand along polished fenders, feeling engine vibrations and confirming alignment, a silent ritual of affirmation that the work had been successful, that history had been respected, and that these vehicles, once neglected, were now alive with potential, ready to tell their stories, transport memory, and embody the artistry, philosophy, and dedication of Rust Valley restorers. The Mustang and Impala side by side gleamed in the morning light, symbols of restoration achieved, history honored, and human effort transformed into living time machines. Each engine a heartbeat, each curve a story, each reflection a reminder that with patience, knowledge, and care, the past could be made present, alive, and meaningful once more.